A beautiful evening in Union with a nice breeze coming in. We are at Harry Cook Jr. Memorial Field on the campus of Union High School. Paul Spahala, Lou Rutino, Joe Skreck up here in the booth, and the fourth member of our broadcast crew who will be down on the field for today's football game is Steve Shofey, and Steve has a very proud Union assistant coach. Steve?
That's right, Paul. I'm here with Carl Peterson, whose son is the starting Union County quarterback tonight. Carl, this has got to be a tremendous experience for you, kind of a chance to say farewell to your son in a football sense, right?
That's exactly what it is, and I couldn't let this opportunity pass me by, and to have the opportunity to have my son play with some of these outstanding athletes here in this county. They're coming from a small 1 and 2 schedule. For him to get this opportunity to play with some of the bigger schools in the county, just a fantastic opportunity.
How was this week for you? Did you enjoy this opportunity to coach all these players?
Like I said, it's a great opportunity. You read about these players, and we don't ever get a chance to really see some of the watch-on conference teams. And I'll tell you one thing, they really strap it up, and they got some big kids with a lot of speed, and something that we're not accustomed to seeing. And it's a real thrill to be surrounded by so many great athletes.
How are you watching this game tonight, as a proud father or as a football coach?
Well, I'm trying to coach it, and it's hard to divorce myself from being a father, too. I have mixed emotions. I just want everybody to play well, stay healthy, and have a lot of fun.
Great. Have a good game, Coach.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you.
Take care. That's it for down here. Back up to you, Paul.
Thank you very much, Steve. With proud father and Union County assistant coach Carl Peterson. Union won the toss, and they deferred. There are the Union All-Stars, and by the way, that is Chris Peterson jogging into the huddle, number 13. Chris will be starting at quarterback this evening for the Union County All-Stars. Well, Lou Rutino, would you rather be on offense first or defense first in an All-Star game?
Well, we traditionally defer all the time, so normally we like to have the option in the second half because that'll depend on what you do, the score, and how the game is going, whether you want to play offense or defense in the second half. So we always defer and leave it up to the other team. So we wind up kicking off most of the time.
And that is what the Union All-Stars will do. Joe Skreck, we will see a young man back for the Middlesex All-Stars, number 22, Ish Dakayai, who twice returned kickoffs for touchdowns this year, and he can just burn.
He can, Paul, and I think something to watch for might be that the special teams coach for Middlesex is Nick Spadafino, who is Coach Borden's special teams assistant in East Brunswick. And they like to do a lot of gadgets and a lot of trickery on kick returns and punt returns, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of reverses or maybe fake reverses.
Well, the surprise is, as there you see Marcus Borden with the Miami Dolphins cap, since they are clad in the Dolphins colors. The surprise is that Dakiai is not back to receive this kickoff. To the left of the screen is Kamishi Jackson of Monroe, and to the right is Alex Fitzpatrick of New Brunswick. Kevin Kirby, number 21 out of Roselle Park, will be doing the honors this evening, and the first ever Union County, Middlesex County All-Star football game is underway. And it rolls into the end zone, so we will start with a touchback. Bounced off the hands of Jackson of Monroe, and so Middlesex will start from the 20-yard line. For Middlesex County, number 11, Anthony Caffiero will be calling signals this evening, and Joe, quite a story there, and that Caffiero was a receiver, and quite a good one last year.
He was. After his junior season, he caught 22 passes for 530 yards, and he gained some all-county and all-area awards. And because of his leadership primarily, they moved him to quarterback for his senior season.
So an I formation is the first set we will see from the Middlesex County All-Stars. Rashawn Whitner, who is Caffiero's teammate at Woodbridge, gets the call. And a good safe call there, get two teammates to start it off.
Yeah, it's in a basic ISO play. You can't get any safer than that.
I think both coaches said it's going to kind of be like two boxers coming out in the first round. Going to really be a feeling out period. This is new to everybody, coaches, players, and even announcers.
That's for sure.
We didn't know if Lou Rutino would find his way up to the press box. You usually just stop at the field and stay there.
Yeah, that's true. Looks different from up here.
Gain of, we'll call it 4 on the play for Middlesex County, so it will be 2nd and 6. Pitch back to Whitner. And Whitner still keeps his feet, but is finally forced down by Lamond Adams of Hillside.
Well, that time they ran the option right, and it's kind of hard to do that in such a short period of time to put in the option. That was well defensed. They just missed the tackle, and the kid made a nice run and got 3 or 4 yards on his own.
And good moves by the 2-time All-Red Division running back from Woodbridge High.
Because that should have been a loss.
Gain of 1 on the play, so it will be 3rd and 5 for the Middlesex All-Stars. Some hard hitting on the sidelines. The players are really excited about this game. Both coaching staffs have said everyone has really enjoyed being part of this whole situation. Possibly our first chance to see Cafiero throw. But we're going to get some movement.
It's interesting to mention, too, Paul, that there is no starting team per se. In fact, they flipped the coin. We had 2 units for the most part, and they flipped the coin to see who would get the honors of starting the first series. But they're going to alternate right on through the fourth quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, both teams can play their best people.
Now, was that done at Chaffee's last night?
Yeah. That was very nice of Chaffee's to host the pregame meal for the Union All-Star team.
So it is a first down on the movement by the defense of the Union line.
71, it must be Roberts. 73 is Solomon.
First and 10, the ball just slightly over the 30-yard line for the Middlesex County All-Stars. Cafiero looking to throw, puts it up in a stiff breeze, and it's intercepted by Laquan Brown of Elizabeth with the interception at the 36.
You know, that's some secondary that Elizabeth had. When you look at Laquan Brown and Timmy Smith both in this game, and the wideout Sherrod Williams was their other starter. You're talking about 3 All-Stars in that secondary for Elizabeth.
There is a very stiff breeze blowing here this evening. You can see that ball just got caught up in the wind, and Laquan Brown comes down with it for the interception for the Union All-Stars. So the first big play of the game belongs to the Union defense. Isaac Nelson of Hillside brings the play in for Chris Peterson. Peterson, number 13 out of Johnson Regional High School. He'll get the start this evening at quarterback. We also will see John Shinestool of Roselle Park. And Peterson looks to throw on first down. He'll air it out long, incomplete. Looking for Rodney Tullis.
Interesting, they did come out in a wing formation, just a wide wing, Paul, and I thought they would be an eye most of the time. But they came out in a wing set.
My error, that was intended for Mark Carlson. There's Laquan Brown. Who has given the Union All-Stars the football back. Again, it was Carlson, the intended receiver. It goes incomplete, 2nd and 10 for the Union County All-Stars. Ian Paxson in the backfield.
That was Bobby McLean from Rahway. We have 2 outstanding tailbacks in this Union arsenal. They have Bobby McLean with great feet, and Marco Caban, who was an All-State player, and they're very loaded at that position.
Well, Caban certainly with great feet also as a kicker.
Oh, that's for sure. Pretty good runner too, Paul.
Shannon Johnson of Perth Amboy with the tackle. He'll be studying oceanography at Lafayette College next year. No gain on the play, so it will be 3rd and 10 for the Union All-Stars. McLean and Paxson in the backfield. Peterson looking to throw. Goes across the middle, incomplete.
I think that was an automatic, Paul. When they see too deep, they make a call with both wideouts going down the sidelines and trying to get the tight end down the middle to split that too deep.
Peterson had plenty of time to throw on that play. Union did a pretty good job of picking up the pass rush.
And the tight end was open. It was just a little overthrown. You'll see that automatic call quite often during the game when they go into that too deep set.
So on 4th down, the Union All-Stars will give it away.
Nice punt.
Nice floating punt. Caught at the 26-yard line.
I think that was Sherrod Williams from Elizabeth making a heck of a play. Flag out there.
We are at Union High School for the first annual Union County Middlesex County All-Star Football Game. I'm Paul Spahala with Lee Lurutino and Joe Skreck. Steve Shofey down on the field. As a matter of fact, the first big play of the game was the interception by Laquan Brown, and I believe Laquan Brown joins Steve Shofey right now. Steve?
That's right, Paul. I have Laquan Brown from Elizabeth right here. Laquan came up with the first big play of the game, a nice pick. How did it happen?
Well, first of all, the quarterback took too much time to throw the ball, so I figured that he's going to throw it deep. So I just played the wide receiver outside shoulder, and when I seen the ball go up, the coach, our coach told us to go attack the ball, so I attacked the ball, and I just came up with it.
Great play. Are you having fun this week with these guys?
Yeah, I'm having fun. It's a lot of fun working with these guys, Even though some of us is rivals, but, we all came together for this game. And we're here to win and show that, Union County has the best football in the state.
Attaboy. Have a good game, Laquan. All right? Take care.
Interesting, Paul, the first real big break of the game, illegal participation. That's terrible when that happens from a coaching standpoint. It's like a turnover. You have the ball, and all of a sudden you have to give it back on a penalty. That's a big break for Union County.
What might have been the infraction? What was the
illegal participation? Probably meant there were 12 people out there.
Do you think the 15 yards is too harsh of a penalty?
No, not for illegal participation.
That man thinks it is. Marcus Borden.
Yeah.
So with
not if it happens on Union tonight.
Well, the rules say 11. It's not really fair to play with 12.
With the 15 yards, the ball placed right on the I in Union at the 50-yard line. Peterson looks to his right, throws, has a completion. This time it is to Carlson. Carlson with some good speed, pushed out of bounds near the 30-yard line.
Nice job. A little 5 or 10 yard stop pass, a little longer than a hitch. Goes for big yardage.
Capiero of Woodbridge makes the hit out of bounds. Just a quick look.
Who's that, too? Oh, Carlson. Mark Carlson, yeah. There again, you get that penalty coming back to haunt the Middlesex team.
First down the ball at the 32-yard line of the Middlesex All-Stars. We are scoreless with 11:23 to go in the first quarter. If that sounds unusual, it's because we're playing 15-minute quarters this evening. This is Paxson. And we saw a lot of the big running back from Summit, Ian Paxson, this year.
That reminds me of Union, huh? They're running the belly to the left side, and that's been our best play for 15 years. And that left side, by the way, with Mengucci and Martinez is very awesome.
With that gimmick offense that Summit runs, I wonder if that's a little bit of an adjustment for Paxson, coming to a more conventional look this week.
Could be. He's used to playing that single wing up there.
Yeah, I know Angel Arroyo, wide receiver on Amboy, is used to run and shoot, and he's not used to only getting one or two balls thrown to him during practice.
Of course, now the single wing is moving to Westfield with Jim Benedict. Gain of 3 on the play. Paxson again. He'll get to the 30.
Very well defensed by the middle of that Middlesex line. Nothing was there for him.
Well, here's a look at the Middlesex defense in the white.
Got very good movement from the left guard there, but the rest of the pack came to help out.
Nikita Ziegler, one of the young men that Joe talked about in the open, one of 5 representatives from the Central Group 4 champions of Woodbridge.
He really was a surprise to Coach Frank Bender and the Woodbridge team this year. He wasn't too highly thought of before the season, but really emerged as the team leader on defense by the time the playoffs were over.
Beat Trenton for the Central Group 4 championship.
Move from Chenoyne from Linden, the left tackle, just pulled his hand up a little too soon, and that's a big play.
I was going to say, Coach, I was surprised that the first penalty was on the defense. I would have thought that we might see maybe a few more problems from the offense with the timing more than the defense.
And in all-star games, and I've been involved with the North-South game for 17 years, or 16 years, that's usually what happens. The defense can come together a lot sooner in an all-star game than the offense. But so far, both offenses look like they're pretty cohesive, which is pretty good for 7 practices.
Steve Cicatelli is the head coach of the Union All-Stars. Steve with the headset on next to Lou Grasso.
By the way, Paul, as you know, both teams were limited to only seven practice sessions. Middlesex chose to do it over a 2-week period. Monday through Thursday and then Monday through Wednesday. Union did the opposite. They went doubles on Saturday and Sunday.
And the weather was not really cooperative for any of them. Blitz picked up nicely, pass tipped away and incomplete. Pass intended for Shane Jacobs.
Yeah, just a slant pattern. Could have been open, just a little high thrown.
Shane came down with most of these this year.
Yes, he did. He actually had, hi, Unc, how you doing?
Cereval's Joey Cavallero there on the coverage. He made a lot of big plays for the Bombers during their last two seasons when they went to the playoffs, CJ Group 4 playoffs.
Pete Kucharski of Dayton Regional does the punting for the Union All-Stars. Does not get off a good one this time. However, the position on the field will help him out.
Not much worse than kicking it into the end zone, Paul. It's on the 22 instead of the 20.
Yeah, exactly. So unless he really nailed a great coffin corner
Yeah,
kick, he
because
was
what
going to
he
be
was-
at the same spot.
What he was trying to do was just kind of not go for the coffin corner, I think, but just try to, poach it inside the 10.
Marcus Borden of East Brunswick is the offensive coordinator of the Middlesex team. They have split their head coaching duties in half. Sal Mistretta of Sayreville coaches the defense. And Marcus, one of the driving forces behind this game. Whitner on the carry.
That was interesting that time, Paul. They went unbalanced to the right and were short on the left side and ran back to the left side and got good.
Here's a look at the blocking.
They were trips to the right side. They had a slot back and a wide out and plus the tight end all on that side. And they ran back the other way for good yardage.
Kucharski of Dayton made the tackle on the play. Gain of 7 on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 3. Caffiero kept it, and he's going to be awfully close to a first down.
It's a different quarterback.
Matt Hagee is now quarterbacking the Middlesex All-Stars. Hagee out of North Brunswick.
Chain Gang gets their first action of the night, Coach.
I think most teams, Paul, are going to be changing every series, and alternating series, at least for the first 3 quarters.
Hagee was the All-State place kicker this year.
And I think, by the way, that's a good idea to alternate. We did that. We put that in the rules for the North-South game this year. You pick a kid, you want him to have a good experience.
And they will be very grateful on a night like tonight. Warm, humid night here in Union. But now that the sun has gone down, it is a comfortable evening. Again, a very stiff breeze blowing from the near sideline to the far sideline. Again, Hagee looks to throw. He goes to Dakiyi. And Ish makes a nice move, and he's out to the 39-yard line. And that is a pair that hooked up quite a number of times during the season, the two from North Brunswick.
Just a quick little hitch. They were in a pro right set with the tight end and the flanker both to the right side, and just threw a little hitch and had the tight end come down and lead the block for him.
DeCaye caught 22 passes this year from Hagee, averaging 14 yards per catch, and also rushed for 500 yards for Coach Paul Castro at North Brunswick.
We had the players fill out bio sheets, and we asked for hobbies, and Ish said his was chilling.
I believe him.
2nd and about 3 for the Middlesex All-Stars. They'll go to the ground.
Looks like they picked up another first down. Good surge from the right side. They were in a slot right, wide slot right, with the slot left rather, with the tight end right, and they ran behind the tight end.
Shanaffy, the runner from East Brunswick.
I guess there are two schools of thought, Coach, that you can either put in a lot of formations and kind of try to confuse the defense, but at the same time, it's more for the offense to remember.
Correct. I think with 7 practices, you're better off being pretty basic.
I would expect that from you.
And so, we're basic all the time.
But they don't stop you.
Especially in an all-star game, I think it's important.
Wendell Bates from Linden is on the ball game, tipped away. The intended pass knocked down by Greg Carlucci of Governor Livingston.
Outstanding play from Greg. Outstanding.
Intended for Al Fitzpatrick of New Brunswick. Fitzpatrick specialized in the big play this year. He finished with 12 receptions, but of those, he had about 3, 4, maybe even 5 that went for touchdowns of 50 yards or further.
Receptions, 9 of them for touchdowns for Fitzpatrick. And as Joe mentioned, many of the long variety. Pressure is on, thrown away by Hagee. And Kucharski, along with Wenslaw, were in a hurry.
Yeah, well, that full out blitz that time with the linebacker coming, and they just didn't pick it up. And that's very difficult in an all-star game to pick up blitzes.
In most all-star games, they don't
not
even allow it.
Correct.
So
In the North-South game, you have to play a base defense with no blitzing. But we decided that it would be more open if we tried it the other way. So it's really an experiment to see how it works.
as Paul mentioned, really the only rule change is 3 extra minutes in each quarter.
That's right.
Otherwise, it's football like everybody knows
like
it.
everybody knows it, exactly.
3rd and 10. Hagee rolling to his left. Stops, can't find anyone to throw to, and then wisely just throws it out of bounds to give his punter a chance.
Well defensed, and that's our big tackle, Ben Solomon, who goes about 280, and he did a good job containing that time.
You'll get a look at it. Watch for number 73 in the black and silver.
Ben has surprised a lot of people this year, Paul, because he is so big, and they don't think he has that kind of movement, but he has excellent movement for a big man.
Adams and Williams are back to receive. High, short punt. Fielded by the Middlesex All-Stars at the Union 44-yard line. So that's where Union County will start from. Carl Borey didn't get off the great kick there, and it will give the Union All-Stars some excellent field position.
Very much like the Union kick, the kick before. The only difference was they were kicking from the 30.
John Scheinstuhl is on to quarterback for the Union County. John led Roselle Park to an 11-0 season this year. 22 straight victories for the Panthers.
It's a true pro right formation, and they run the belly. The big Jay Coleman. It looks like Union's favorite play.
Coleman was a tough one to control when you had to play against him, right, Coach?
Absolutely. He's a top-notch. He's a Division I type of player, I think.
He finished his career with over 2,400 yards and 40 TDs, setting some school records. And recent Linden High School graduates include future NFLers Troy Stratford and Craig Taylor. So pretty impressive company.
Yes.
He gained 6 on the play, 2nd and 4 for Union County. And again, it's Coleman. Tries to get outside, and Shannon Johnson wraps him up.
They're going to be about 2.5 to 3 yards short, Paul.
Shannon Johnson, number 6 out of Perth Amboy High. Interesting story of Perth Amboy. They lost 15 in a row under new head coach Joe Stinson, but then came on in their final 3 for victories, including their great rivalry against Carteret. And you can really expect some interesting things from Perth Amboy in the very near future.
Unlike the rest of us, Joe Stinson can't wait for September to come around in the summer to end. He's raring to go already.
Well, Joe's a proven winner, you know. He's and I think he'll turn it around there as well.
I think he has the program and the followers believing in the run and shoot.
Third, 2 yards to go for Union County. Looks like we'll get the blitz.
Yeah, we got it.
But Scheinstuhl reads it well, turns it upfield, and he's got first down yardage.
That was a really nice job to pick up that blitz. The right guard picked.
He sees it coming.
All right. That's Mingucci in the center. Kubarov did a nice job picking up the blitz. And I tell you, John Scheinstuhl is a very heady quarterback.
The Kennedy pair, Gary Bell and Bob Smolder, combined for the tackle. 1st and 10 from the Middlesex 42. Scheinstuhl looking to throw. Airs it out. Completed to Williams. Sherrod Williams of Elizabeth. 5'8", 165-pound receiver hauls it in.
We know Sherrod very well, Paul. He played for us for a couple of years and then moved to Elizabeth his senior year. He's an outstanding player. In fact, I think he might be a cornerback in college. He's a great defensive player, too.
5 TD receptions. Watch him just fly out for this one from John Scheinstuhl.
And that's what I mean about John. John doesn't have the strongest arm in the world, but he has great accuracy, and he really knows where he's throwing the ball. He's a very heady quarterback.
I would think he was pretty excited about being moved to quarterback
Yes.
Once he found out
Yes, once
Collins
Eddie
couldn't make
Collins
it.
was slated to be the quarterback, and
Everybody wants to be a quarterback.
right.
From the 12-yard line, Scheinstuhl, that time not that happy that Ed Collins is in Arizona. Instead of throwing touchdowns, he's throwing fastballs for the Milwaukee Brewers.
You know, they're in field goal range. I don't know. I think Marco Caban will probably be the kicker. He was 11 for 12 for us.
Yeah, that is the...
He doesn't have, tremendous distance. His range is like 35 and in, but he's been very, very accurate from 35, and he had a long of 42 for us with a wind behind him.
After this play, I think we'll check in with Steve Cicatelli. We have a wireless microphone on the head coach of the Union All-Stars. Let's see what he has to tell us after this 2nd and 10 play. Short yardage there for Marco.
That was a counter tray, and they just came with a lot of people and penetrated, and you can't run a counter when they get penetration.
Let's listen in to the head coach of the Union County All-Stars.
All right.
Marco! Guys?
Yes. Field goal team ready. If we have to call a timeout, we'll use it. All right?
Well, we heard the
John,
strategy
they're
of Steve
inside.
Cicatelli.
John, he's inside on him? Okay.
And then he's asking some advice from John Wagner, who is the defensive coordinator. Well, perfect situation. That's what Coach Cicatelli says. Let's see.
They're running the fade, and it's open. It's open. Touchdown.
Melvin Brown of Plainfield.
You know, Paul, that was a too-deep situation, and that's the play that hurts the too-deep. You beat that outside linebacker on the fade, you got a touchdown. And that's exactly what they did.
Let's listen into the coach.
As you know, Steve knew it was set up before the play. As soon as you see the defense, I knew that play could have been there with a good throw. See, it's very difficult for the inside safety to make that play.
Here we go now. We got to play some D now, defense. Let's get a turnover. Come on.
Well, you heard Steve Cicatelli say perfect, perfect. The defense was set up perfect. Marco Caban on to attempt the extra point. And as he did so often on this field, he drills it right through the uprights.
You know, we don't think of, with the wing T, we think of Roselle Park primarily as a running team, but
Correct.
John Scheinstuhl passed for 12 touchdowns in the fall.
Exactly.
And you have to remember, with their margin of victory, he was playing 3/4 or less most of the time.
Exactly. Same with us. You know, we're supposed to be a running team, and we had 15 touchdown passes.
Melvin Brown was on the receiving end of the touchdown pass. He's downstairs with Steve Schofield.
That's right, Paul. We have Melvin Brown from Plainfield here. Melvin came up with the first score of the game on a great pass from John Scheinstuhl. Melvin, super effort there.
Yeah. He told me to just go out there, clear out, go to the corner. Ball was there, and I caught it, touchdown.
Perfect fade pattern, Melvin. Congratulations on scoring the first touchdown. John Scheinstuhl, great pass. John, you're doing a good job being a field general out there.
Yeah, I didn't expect us to throw on the first drive too much, but we did. I thought we were just going to get the field, but we came out throwing, and it worked.
Good. Continued success tonight, John. Back up to you, Paul.
The one thing I'd like to mention, Paul, when you have a great running team like Roselle Park is, and you know, not to be egotistical, but Union is also, when you complete, you don't throw that often, but you throw for usually a high percentage, and a high percentage of touchdown passes, because people cheat on you to try to stop the
Prize
run.
element, right?
Well,
Right.
Scheinstuhl, in the last 2 years, was 105 out of 148 passes. So he completed 5 out of every 7 he threw. This is Dakiai.
Yeah, when you're an exceptional running team, people tend to cheat on you, and you do get a lot of touchdown passes.
Make sure everybody writes down Melvin Brown's name, first touchdown in Union
right.
Middlesex All-Star Game history from John Scheinstuhl.
And the touchdown happened with roughly 2 minutes to go. Joe, you have it written down?
2:08 to be precise.
That's why we brought Joe here. We knew the newspaper guy would write it
If
down.
it was, if we weren't playing 15-minute quarters, it would have happened in the second quarter. But the extra couple minutes, so it's a first quarter score.
So with 2:08 left in the quarter, Union leads 7-0.
Straight ISO again, Paul, over that right side, just like the first play. Oh, late flag just came in. That usually means trouble for the defense if it's a late flag.
Harry Hatch makes the call.
Yep, face mask. Whenever that flag comes in late, it's usually against the defense.
I think Middlesex could kind of use a little breathing room. The breaks have kind of gone Union's way so far, and I think, a little decent field position might make them feel a little better about themselves.
Field position, such an important factor in all phases of football, but particularly in high school football, where yardage is tougher to come by than in the colleges and the pros. And you really have to go back to the interception by Laquan Brown that gave Union early good field position, even though they couldn't capitalize it on 2 drives, but they did on the 3rd drive.
Well, and the bad punt was big too, Paul.
That's true.
In field position.
I really think, talking about field position, one of the most underrated plays maybe to most fans is the ability to catch a punt. So many times
Absolutely.
the punt rolls, and it must drive coaches crazy.
Yeah, when we work on our punt returns, we don't care about setting up walls, etc. Our top priority is catching the ball on the fly. It's worth two first downs most times.
1:19 left in the first quarter. Union County 7, Middlesex County nothing. Caffiero back at quarterback.
Ooh, a big one.
Beautiful move by Andrew Onder. Onder out of Edison High School. And he's finally forced out by Lamond Adams. Onder with 30 career rushing touchdowns and also scored a lot in basketball.
I'm going to run that back.
He was the workhorse for Coach Mike Wojcik. They ran the wishbone and multiple set team, and he was always a workhorse.
Beautiful hip move there.
Was used to running behind some holes opened by Rashid Simmons, a name I'm sure is familiar to most listeners. Going to the University of Michigan, played in a National All-American
he's
All-Star
a
game.
High school All-American and legitimate. Again, their trips left this time.
Inside the 35.
And they come back right.
Whitner.
That's the second time they did that, Paul, where they went trips one side and ran back to the short side with only 2 linemen there.
Are they setting something up by doing that?
No, I don't think so. I think that what they're counting on is Union to overshift that way and then come back to the weak side.
First time Middlesex has been in Union territory.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, the first time they ran that play, they got about 7 yards on it. That time it was stopped.
So obviously Union adjusted. John Wagner is calling the defensive signals for the Union All-Stars.
And then back to a conventional pro set, pro I.
16 seconds to go in the quarter. Caffiero audibilizes. Looking to throw for Fitzpatrick. He's got to step on his man, just can't pull it in.
Exact same pattern that Union ran for the touchdown. It's very difficult for that safety to get over there, but if you can force him to throw the ball 25 or 30 yards, the safety can get there. The reason why the Middlesex safety couldn't get there was only a 15-yard pass.
I think we heard Coach Ciccatelli say, or we heard somebody on the sideline say audible. I'm kind of surprised that they're that progressed that they're calling audibles.
Well, both teams are running. As I said, when they run it too deep, Middlesex, there are automatic audibles that Union has
I
been
think
running.
that's really a credit to the quarterbacks and the coaches that
Absolutely.
they can put that in such a short time.
Exactly right. Well, you got top quality people here, Joe.
3rd and 9. 7 seconds to go in the quarter. Union showing blitz. Picked up by Middlesex. Caffiero rolling right, throws on the run. A little bump in the defensive backfield. No flag with 2 seconds to go.
I think it was a good no call, to be honest with you. That was inadvertent bumps with both people going for the football. I don't think that's a penalty.
Intended for Shanaffy. Laquan Brown on the coverage.
If you bump them with no proximity to the football, they're going to drop the flag. But that certainly was proximity there.
4th and 9. And right away, the first big decision for Middlesex, they're going to go for it from the Union 34-yard line.
Too far for a field goal, and maybe you're looking at gaining 14, maybe the 19 yards on a punt play. So I guess Coach Borden thinks it's worth the gamble.
All right.
Going trips left again. Trips left.
Caffiero, pressure is on from Kucharski. Pete Kucharski, but there's a penalty on the play. Kucharski might have gotten a face mask on his tackle.
Ooh, that would be a tough break.
Ooh. And that's what the call is going to be.
That's a tough break.
As
That
the
is tough.
quarterback ducked, Kacharski got a little bit of either the face mask or the opening of the helmet.
That's too bad. Kacharski was really one of the players excited about coming into this game. You know, most of these players came from teams that had great seasons. Unfortunately, Dayton, a couple other teams, you know, had 1, 2, you know, a couple had no wins. So, and he was really one of the players that are excited to have a chance to win.
Exactly.
A quote from one of the Middlesex players, Krakowicki from J.P. Stevens, said he just wanted to be on a winning ball team.
And he's the only player representing his school, and that makes it even more important for him.
That will do it. We'll walk off the penalty to start the second quarter. We'll take a short break right now with the score Union County 7, Middlesex County nothing. We'll be right back.
Hi from Snapple. A detective from Arizona writes, I'm an avid buyer of Snapple, but during my last purchase, I found the label on upside down. You're kidding.
I would like to say that I think it's a great product. Everybody makes mistakes, so the label's not really a big deal, and I just want to let them know that there was a little bit of error, and it's no big deal.
Sorry about the upside down label, Charles. At Snapple, we don't like mistakes either. We are working hard to ensure that a similar error will not occur. Thank you.
Oh, Lewis, Rodney, tell us.
Welcome back to Union High. Let's go back down to the field with Steve Schofield.
I'm here with Joe DeMario. Joe is a legendary coach now in Middlesex County, but at one time coached in Union County. Joe, this has got to be a nice visit back to Union County for you.
My home area. I grew up in Kenilworth. Got my family here. My mom's here, my sister, and it's nice to be back in Union County.
How you enjoying working with these kids?
It's a lot of fun. Great kids. Great week of practice. They work real hard. They deserve it. We should do all right.
How you going to be at Kennedy next year?
We'll see. We'll see.
A very conservative call. Thanks, Coach. Thanks for coming over. Back up to you, Paul.
The Kennedy Mustangs were in the Central Jersey Group 2 championship game, lost to Manasquan, the game we televised on TV3, and Joe DeMario and the Mustangs had a great season, Joe.
Yeah, he took over a team that had won 2 games, only 2 games the previous season, and kind of changed things around offensively, going away from the wishbone, and really gained a share of the tie for the white division title and advanced to the sectional final. Really had a great year. He's a former assistant. Well, Joe's been around a little bit. He came to Kennedy from being an assistant to Sal Mastretta at Saraville.
Yeah. But Joe had some great successes. He turned that Spotswood program around.
That's right.
Got
Spotswood in the playoffs.
The only time they ever won was when Joe was there.
You're right.
He did a good job at Hillside before that, so he's an established coach. He's been around a long time.
The penalty moves the ball 1 yard shy of a first down, so it will be 4th and about a yard to go for the Middlesex All-Stars.
Second guessers had their chances when they had the sack, but now it looks like it was worth the risk going for it on 4th down.
Yeah. Because without the face mask, Union would have had the ball
near midfield.
Near midfield. Yeah. So it was a gamble.
Future All-Star?
Is that a Union helmet he's wearing, Lou?
It looks like it. No, that's a black. It's black, not Union. Oh, it's got Union UHS on it. Maybe it is dark maroon.
First down, Onder, who had the big carry that opened up this drive, gets first down yardage for the Middlesex All-Stars.
Edison had a real good year, speaking about Onder, and he's in familiar territory because he's running behind his center, Jeff McCluskey. They played Trenton in the opening round of the CJ Group 4 playoffs, gave him a real big battle. Trenton needed, unbeaten Trenton, considered one of the top teams in the state, needed a big rally in the 4th quarter to knock off Edison, and then, of course, they had to play another Middlesex County team, Woodbridge, in the final.
Andrew's brother played when Andrew was a sophomore. They were state champions in '92. Good outside move. Did he stay in bounds? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Middlesex County. Kamishi Jackson of Monroe with some great balance along the sideline, and it's a 7-6 ball game.
Just straight power toss, Paul. Nothing but straight power toss. Gap down blocking with the fullback leading, and got it in the end zone. A lot on his own. He made some great moves.
Nice move. Kamisi Jackson, coming from Monroe, is one of those players who I think is really relishing the opportunity to play here. Program's been down a little bit. Coach Keith Hudak, he's doing a great job. They had a little bit better year this year. You can see them making progress, and to have an opportunity to play in this game must mean a lot to him.
Exactly.
Matt Hagee on to attempt the tying point. Just 35 seconds into the second quarter. And Hagee puts it through, and we've got a 7-7 ball game.
You said he stayed in bounds there, Paul. Kamisi Jackson during the spring is a standout long jumper. So maybe that kind of, doing that in the spring might have helped him with his footwork there.
And there again, Paul, the big penalty, which is like a turnover. When you have a penalty on 4th down, that's like a turnover, and led to the score.
And that's a tough one because Kucharski makes the great play, does exactly what you want him to, but because the quarterback's ducking away, you get an inadvertent piece of helmet.
Exactly.
When somebody jumps offside or lines up offside, you can get mad at him, but when a kid
that.
does exactly what you
he's
want him
supposed
to do.
Exactly right.
Here's something you don't get to say too often during the season, Paul. I don't get to write too often. With 14:25 left in the second quarter, we have a tie ball game.
Yeah. By the way, look at that. I predicted that Middlesex would come in force. And sure enough, look at that Middlesex side. It's almost full.
Not too bad on the Union sideline either, though.
No, that's right. About equal.
And one thing I've noticed is that the fans have been applauding the outstanding plays on both sides. I think the attitude of the game, going to the charities, has carried on to the fans.
When you're in an all-star game, that's good.
Yeah.
That's Lamont Adams. And there is a penalty thrown into the pile.
Usually means against the offense, Paul.
Usually a clip.
Yep, or a low block.
You would almost expect that on, again, in an all-star game with, working with unfamiliar teammates and kickoffs and punts.
Harry Hatch will make the call. Jack Taylor is his umpire. Joe Clarizio, the head linesman. Anthony Demente is the line judge, and Roy Lewandowski is the back judge, and that's the problem on the kickoff.
And this is going to be the first time Union has faced a little bit of adversity. They've taken over in pretty good field position. This time their backs are going to be towards their end zone. We'll see how they respond.
And that's 2 in a row, big 15-yard penalties
right.
that turn things around on successive series.
Nothing drives coaches crazy
no,
than that, right?
Nothing worse than that.
That's like bases on balls in baseball, missed foul shots in basketball.
You got it. And when it comes in 4th down, it makes it even worse.
So the ball will be moved back just a shade inside the 15-yard line at the 14. It will be a first down for the Union All-Stars. John Scheinstuhl is calling signals for the Panthers. Scheinstuhl on the delay.
It's Marco Caban.
Caban with possibly 10 yards. Down on the sidelines, Kamisi Jackson, who scored the touchdown for the Middlesex All-Stars. Steve?
That's right, Paul. We have Kamisi Jackson here from Monroe. Kamisi came up with a big score for the Middlesex County All-Stars. Kamisi, heck of a run there.
Yeah, I'm playing for my grandfather today. He passed away on Tuesday. That's why I got the black band here. So every time I run, I think he's with me. So that's what presses me on.
That's, boy, no lack for motivation there. What's your plans for next year?
I'll be attending Marshall University. I'll play left cornerback and also run track.
You having fun playing with these guys tonight?
Yeah, I hated a lot of these guys during the season. Now I love them because we're teammates.
All right, I don't want to keep you, Kamisi. Good job. Continued success tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. All right, guys, back.
Option left. It looks like Caban made the first down with a good second effort.
You know, Paul, he mentioned I hated a lot of these guys during the season, and I think Coach can comment on this. We had a story about the Union, about the Elizabeth players coming to Union and hating, to come here. And of course, Saraville and Woodbridge involved in the most controversial playoff game with the illegal reception. But these guys have really come together, and again, it's been something that's been neat to see. I'm sure you've seen it during the week.
Well, I know Union Middlesex Union Elizabeth, I'll tell you after this play.
Scheinstuhl looking to toss, incomplete, intended for Jacobs, overthrown.
Little hitch. But going back to that, Joe, Union Elizabeth has been a heated rivalry, and yet we've never had a problem at the game because there's so much mutual respect for each other's teams, and that happened here this week too. A lot of people came in against rivals and became very, very close friends.
I think Sal Mastretta said that some of the Saraville and Woodbridge players are even going to get together later in the summer before they break and go to colleges.
And that's really the whole idea behind this all-star game, getting the players together, not only to showcase their talents, but to just get them together and prepare them in a way for college, because they're going to go and compete against players of equal ability. And granted, on their high school team, they might have been superior to many of the other players. Now, equal ability. Nothing there.
That was a belly, the belly that Jay Coleman ran for good yardage before.
Jamal Bowman of Sayreville with the tackle.
They adjusted to it and stopped it.
Just to kind of close out that point, mate, Paul, I think one of the neat things also is seeing the different decals on all of the helmets.
Yeah.
It makes it kind of tough for the announcers, but again, I think it's a sign of friendship and camaraderie throughout the week, and you see that on all levels, even in colleges and all high school all-star games.
Bowman out of Sayreville.
Nicknamed the Reverend for his motivational ability, as we saw in Time In last week. He's not shy at all, and reporters know that they'll get their notebook filled if they talk to the Reverend.
13 sacks this year for Bowman. 3rd and long yardage. Let's see if Shinestool goes to the air. The blitz is on. Shinestool, quick toss left. Completed it to Jacobs, but immediately he is brought down, and again it is Bowman.
That play, by the way, Shane ran 3 for touchdowns this year against us. That's a little hitch screen to the split end with the motion man leading the blocking, but they snuffed it out real well.
Bowman, interesting story, as he said on Time In, a transfer from New York his junior year, and only had 1 year of eligibility, but he really made the most of it and helped Sayreville advance to the playoffs, and again, was really somebody his teammates rallied around. He'll have him fired up on the sidelines after that play.
Kucharski gets off a beautiful kick this time. And there's the reverse that we were looking for.
They covered that well,
Pretty
Paul.
nice job by Union, yeah.
Yeah, they had both sides covered.
Coach Borden nicknames his special teams a couple of years ago the Jesse James Gang for all of their hijinks, and they really do, when teams aren't familiar with it.
Darrell Taylor with the catch, and he'll hand it over to Cavallaro.
You see, they have both sides.
That's right.
Sherrod Williams has the right side covered, and the left side came down in their lanes where it's supposed to do, and made the play.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Taylor fake that or Cavallaro fake that handoff and see if they can catch.
But Union had it covered.
They did.
That
Very
side
well.
too.
Very well.
All right, so the Middlesex All-Stars take over from their own 47-yard line. 10:42 to go in the half. It's a 7-7 ball game.
Trips out here to the left, Paul.
And usually they've run to the right. Let's see if they keep up that pattern.
Straight up the middle that time. Ooh.
And nothing there.
Stuffed. That's
Beautiful
Sean
tackle by
Roberts
Sean Roberts.
Nice job. Hit him before he got moving in the backfield.
Sean playing for his head coach, Steve Ciccatelli. Here's a look at it. Roberts tackled not only the ball carrier, but he also took down his tackle. Loss of 1, 2nd and 11.
More conventional pro eye this time. That's a touchdown play. That's the same play.
Forced to the outside, Adams pushes the ball carrier out. That was Carl Borey of South Plainfield.
Different ball carrier ball, but the same play exactly. It's just a power sweep with the fullback leading, everybody gapping down. They pull the left guard. Left guard comes out and leads the play along with the fullback. Left guard did a nice job, by the way, trapping that outside linebacker.
Adams with some good speed, played basketball for the Hillside Comets.
An excellent point guard, by the way.
3rd and 4 for the Middlesex All-Stars. 9:47 to go in the first half.
Unbalanced again, Paul, to the right side. And this time they go to the right side.
Hagee dragged down.
That time they went to the strong side.
John Budd out of New Providence. Budd, a treasurer for the student council. He led his team with 15 outstanding plays.
And New Providence, one of the few teams that might recognize a few of the players. They played South River during the regular season in a battle of really two tradition-rich Group 1 football teams. And New Providence did pretty well. Of course, they did pretty well against everybody except Roselle Park, and they went overtime with them in the sectional final.
Exactly. New Providence had a heck of a club.
Timeout
That's a
Union.
great program they have.
Yes. Well, Frankie Baton does a great job.
Frank is in attendance this evening, as are several other coaches, to watch some of their players perform for the last time.
By the way, Frank, if things go according to plan, we'll reach the 200 win plateau this year. I think he's going into the season with 195, and I count on him to win at least 5 ball games.
That's almost easy to write in before the end of October for the New Providence squad. Well, we've got a break here in the action with 9:13 to go in the half, and Not only do we have coaches watching their players from the stands, but we have a coach up here in the booth watching his players. So, Lou, I've got to ask the question everyone wants to know. Come September, will Lou Rutino be coaching the Union Farmers?
Well, my plans are, and of course I've spoken to my doctor, and I guess some of my health problems have been well documented. But things are in good shape. The cancer's in remission, and I'm planning to coach again. And the doctor gives me an okay. In fact, he said it'll be good for me. So, I'm gaining my weight back. I was down to 150 pounds. I'm now up to 175, and I'd like to get back to 200 before the end of the season. And the doc says I have a good chance of doing that. So I'm looking forward to coaching again.
A lot of watch-on conference squirrels just put an L on their schedule next to Union with that good news. Lou, I'm very happy to hear that, and we wish you the best.
Thank you, Paul.
You've got a tough leader in your house who's going to keep you in good shape. Punt away.
Catch the ball. That's the thing we always worry about. We don't care what you get on the run back. Catch the ball.
Fielded at the 15-yard line. That's where Union will start from.
By the way, you just heard Steve Cicatelli on the headset. It looks like he wants a little bit more protection. He's going with 2 tight ends. Oh, he's going to run power. He's going to run power. That's almost like an ISO. Because when you go with 2 tight ends, Paul, you disguise what side you're going to run the power to. The other thing this does, Paul, is it balances off the defense when you go with 2 tight ends.
Chris Peterson now calling signals for the Union All-Stars. Gives it to Bobby McLean.
See, when you go 2 tight ends, you can't overshift. Most teams like to overshift away from the split end side because there's no tight end there.
McLean was really responsible, a big part of for the resurgence at Rawley this year under Mike Punko, who you're familiar with, Lou. Came back to Rawley. They were 5-3-1 this year, their best record in a few seasons.
Mike is a winner. Mike's a winner, and I knew he would turn that program around.
McLean rushed for just under 900 yards and 7 touchdowns to lead the Indians.
Bobby lists
you
as
hear
one
that?
of his hobbies.
He's going to go very conservative, Paul, and to try to get out of this hole.
McLean lists as one of his hobbies teaching younger children. 2nd and 4. That just makes McLean an all-around all-star.
And they got what they wanted. They're very close. I think they have a first down. It's very close, and they had to get in outside the 20. That's a big first down because it changes a little bit of the field position.
Nelson Martinez of Elizabeth leading the blocking.
Sticking on that subject for a second about being an all-around all-star, let's pick up the replay here, Will.
It's just straight ISO, power left, and it's very close to the first. I think they made the first down. Yes, they did.
One of our writers had a story, Warren Hines had a story on Rashawn Whitner and his younger brother, and always was a constant figure on the sidelines, 12-year-old brother, and it was just kind of neat to see that, an older brother and younger brother getting along. We don't always see that, and in this time where, some people, people are looking for role models, it's nice that you can look towards your brother, and really the role models should come from your family.
Yeah. That's a nice story.
Okay. 1st and 10 for Union.
We're going to run a slant pattern right there to Shane.
Oh, nice cut.
Oh, okay. That's a good play, though.
Knocked down by Johnson. He'll be close to a first down. He might have been bumped down at the 35.
And by the way, Shane Jacobs is only a 1-year player for us, and he made All-County in 1 year, which is unbelievable. We've never had that happen before. He was a basketball player only for 3 years. He's the fastest guy on the team. He's the fastest guy in the county. If he gets a step on somebody, they're not going to catch him.
He'll be a business administration major at Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, correct.
Few players from the game going to Rhode Island.
Both Shane Jacobs and Sherrod Williams are going there to 2 wideouts.
And Jacobs did have enough for the first down. 1st and 10, give to Paxson. Paxson still on his feet. Got a great block.
Nice play. Well, I tell you, Paul, that was a half a second away from a major blitz and maybe a turnover. But Peterson got the handoff just in time.
Mike Zielinski of Colonia with the touchdown-saving tackle. He's listed at 5'6", 160, but he's not afraid to go in there with the big boys. He made a big key hit there.
And the man who caught the
if
first
he gets by
touchdown
him, he might
pass,
score.
the man who caught the first touchdown pass, Melvin Brown, threw a great block to give Paxson an additional 7 yards. So a number of good plays all around there. The handoff, the run, the block, and the tackle.
Union's done pretty good. They were pinned in by their 15-yard line and got 3 first downs.
Big change in field position.
Yes.
Again, Paxson.
You know, Coach, you mentioned Frank Bertone. I'm sure this is kind of neat for you because you're getting to see some of the, in the Watchung Conference, predominantly Group 3 and Group 4 schools. You're getting to see some of the Group 1 and Group 2s that you normally don't get to see during the season.
Yes. But I've worked with Frank in a lot of football camps. He's a great coach. I really enjoy Frank.
Because we know Frank, if he had his choice, he'd be skiing right now.
That's right.
He'd probably be on some mountain in the Poconos waiting for the ski.
Oh, he loves that.
Gain of 4 on the play, 2nd and 6.
It's going to be kind of hard to find snow around here.
Well, I'm sure he'd be standing there waiting. That's one of his passions, other than football.
That's true.
5:35 left in the half, 7-7 score. Union on the move.
Going to throw the hitch, I think, left. Yep.
Looking left for Carlson.
Right there. Same play that they made big yardage on before.
Carlson dives forward. Adam Gomez of Dunellen with the tackle.
You heard Steve Cicatelli before the snap saying, we got the hitch, and he did because that cornerback was back about 8 or 10 yards.
I know you mentioned before, but it really is kind of amazing. Roselle Park tied for the state's longest winning streak right now, 22 in a row, back-to-back sectional titles. I think, Lou, and you can answer this, when you're expected to win is really sometimes when it's the hardest to win. And he had, Coach Wagner, had so many players coming back, and to go 11-0 again, I think really says a lot for him and his program.
He's a great coach. But I know what it feels like because we get that every year. You know, we lose 2 games.
They circle Union on the schedule.
Yeah.
Right?
Double tight end. Rodney Tullis back in the ball game. The give to Paxson. No, Peterson keeps it.
Nice
Good
job.
fake by Peterson. And Peterson will have enough for a first down just inside the Middlesex 40.
This is a very nice drive, Paul, because they started inside their own 15. And they really got out of the hole. They went with the double tights, which got them out of trouble. And then once they got some field position, they opened it up a little bit. That's a really nice drive.
Already 45 yards on this drive for Union All-Stars.
Peterson rushed for just under 900 yards, 876 yards this season, and he's effective throwing the ball and running the ball. Really a double threat for Coach Taylor at Johnson.
Did your homework.
There, John Wagner to the right.
Good job. I'm terrible with that, with the stats.
First down. Peterson looking to throw. No opening. He's forced from the pocket.
Throw it away.
And he's pushed out. A loss of 4.
Was that his father yelling, throw it?
Yeah, I think so.
It was everybody.
It was also, I heard Steve Cicatelli yelling, throw it, throw it.
Really kind of a neat thing. We had a story a couple years ago when Carl Peterson was an assistant in Brearley, and Brearley's last game was against Johnson Regional. And so
That's correct.
So he got a chance to coach against his son and then with his son.
I know what that's like. I
Yes.
coached against my son 2 years in a row.
Here we see him under pressure. He really might have had time to get rid of it, but then not at the end.
By the way, it makes it extra tough to coach against your son if he's the quarterback.
And it's tough on the mother/wife, probably tough as a
my
mom, right?
My wife sat on the Westfield side when we played.
She was a mother first.
Exactly.
That's great. Loss of 4 on the play. Matter of fact, Lou is here tonight.
It's
Stopped
correct.
in the press box earlier. Peterson ducks under one tackle, and then Scala wraps him up. Scala, an interesting story out of Bishop R. Had 14 sacks over the last 2 years. One of his biggest plays when he forced and recovered a fumble against North Brunswick, returned it for a game-winning touchdown.
In the final minute, I remember that game.
You know, Paul, in a game like this, I think you have to go a little bit more with 3-step drops rather than 5-step drops, because with all the blitzing and the lack of practice time, you have to get the ball off quickly. That's why the touchdown pass
That's what we
was
saw, the fade. The fade
Correct.
works. Yeah.
Three-step drop.
Yep.
Although, interestingly enough, and both coaches agree with both of you, that offense was a little bit behind, particularly the offensive line. We haven't had a hold yet, and I don't think we've had a movement on the offensive line yet.
No. Well, we did against the North early in the game.
Peterson looking to throw, running left, just can't brought down.
That was a nice play, and the ball was right there.
And again, they did something there to kind of get him a little more time. They rolled him out to the left, which kind of bought him a little bit of time.
Well, what they did was they fake counter right, everything coming right, and then it was a kind of a naked bootleg. As you see, here comes the counter action this way, and then he rolls away from it.
Ian Paxson just couldn't bring this one down.
Really a nice ball by Peterson,
Yeah, it really
right-handed
was.
passer going to his left. You know, that's tough for the NFL quarterbacks, and for a high school player to make that play is really nice play.
Again, Kucharski.
I think this is a good move punting here, Paul. Try to get him inside the 10.
Yeah. Just over 3 minutes left in the half.
Expect the ball to go left. That's where the strong breeze is going, and it does.
Didn't get what they wanted. They wanted it inside the 10, and then maybe call a couple of timeouts and get field position for one more shot. But unfortunately, he's trying to poach the ball. When he's got distance to kick, he kicks it real well. But he's trying to poach the ball. He's getting it he wants to get it some loft on it, but he's getting it straight up in the air.
I'll be surprised if Middlesex sits on it here. I know I think they're going to look to get some more points for
Absolutely.
halftime.
In an all-star game, why not?
Sure.
2:49 left.
No matter who wins, remember, every coach is still 0-0 when this game is over.
I think both teams have all 3 of their timeouts left, too.
Yes, they do.
Caffiero is the quarterback now for Middlesex. And he is looking to throw long. And he's got a man, Fitzpatrick.
Well, that was a great throw.
And he's bumped out at the Union 40.
I tell you, Paul, that was well covered, and he just put it right in between two people. It was a great throw. They didn't have that covered badly at all.
For some, to me, surprise, the long routes are successful tonight for both teams.
Well, what both teams are doing, they're playing a lot of 2 deep, which with 3 deep, it's a little harder to throw the ball deep. 2 deep, you get that fade pattern if you can get there before the safety gets there, and you can also split the 2 with the 3 deep receivers. So you do get more big plays.
Caffiero accounted for 11 touchdowns this year, 7 in the air, 4 on the ground for the Barons. He goes back to the air. Force from the pocket. Throws on the run and completed at the 15. And that's his teammate, Michael Feeney.
You were right, Joe. They weren't going to sit on the ball.
Feeney, another one who specialized in the big play, kind of like Fitzpatrick. Feeney had 6 receptions. 4 of them, though, went for touchdowns. Not bad for Caffiero in his final game as a quarterback. He's heading to the Ivy League as a defensive back.
Here's another big play. Feeney with the catch.
Feeney listed as a defensive back, but we saw him working out on both sides of the ball during practices.
Listed as one of his hobbies, eating. Short run up the middle by Shanafi.
You might see them get a little conservative here and try to kick the field goal, Paul.
Well, they've got the state's all-state place kicker in Matt Hagee.
Right.
Who had 4 field goals this year.
What they don't want to do is get a turnover here, so they might be they might be a little conservative here to get to ensure the 3.
Well, let's listen in once again to Steve Cicatelli.
Both have an ER at the end, but one.
Did it work though? They all followed.
What happened to it? Where is it? Take a shot. It was a great catch. Yeah.
Talking to Shane Jacobs about a catch that he made.
If they run this one again, Paul, then you know they're going for the field goal. Whoop.
Well, they won't have to think about field goal. They're going to get extra yardage now.
It looked like Shane might have been a little shaken up after one of the hits, and that points out that we haven't seen any players leave with cramps or really any sort of injuries, which is great and shows that they must be in pretty good shape from the workouts.
The kids came in great shape. I was amazed at how well they got along right from day one. I'm sure the Middlesex crew had the same experience, but these kids just had a ball all week.
Wendell Bates, the man who jumped off sides, and we'll get a timeout.
I see Shane on the sidelines looking at his ribs, I think.
I think so far the fans have to be pleased with what they've seen. They've gotten a little bit of everything. We've had a few nice running plays, a couple of long passes, a couple of nice kick returns, not too many penalties.
Which is what we were hoping for. We were hoping that both teams could get into the 20s in terms of scoring.
Sure.
It's something that we've had trouble with in the North-South game. The players are so dominant on defense, it was hard to get points, even though you limit the defense. But here, it's a little bit different, and we were hoping to open it up and maybe with blitzing and stuff, get more big plays, and that's exactly what's happened.
And again, you mentioned the crowd before, Coach. I would think the game organizers, Marcus Borden, heading away, have got to be ecstatic with the turnout.
Yeah, nice turnout. And it's hard because in Union County, I'm surprised we have so many Union County people. It was hard to get the word out because we have no county paper. And Middlesex County, of course, has great coverage, and I knew that we were going to get a good crowd from Middlesex. I was worried about the Union crowd, but somehow the word got out because these stands are pretty full.
Maybe a few copies of the News Tribune trickled into the Union County towns.
You know what else is nice? We were talking about all the good things about the game, getting kids together. But you have to remember also, they're helping 2 charities.
Well, I was about to say, at the half, Steve Shofie is going to be joined by Barry Haber of Children's Specialized Hospital and Nick Orsino of the Lakeview School. Those are the charities being helped tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, Paul, we have a very close, that's a first down, I think.
Should be enough. They
Very
had to
close,
cross the
yeah.
7.
We have a very close relationship with them. As you know, one of our players last year, a senior, was in a coma for 2 weeks after a major car accident the week before the season. And he wound up at Children's Specialized Hospital. They did a great job. He's going to probably be able to play for us this year. They didn't know if he was going to live or die.
That's outstanding.
And
there was a story in a program by Kip Cuddick about the Cherries, and somehow, I'm not sure of the relationship, but somehow they are intertwined, and they kind of work together, which is kind of neat.
Wishbone.
Ball spotted at the 4, first and goal. Shanafi.
And that's a good effort from the back because he was hit at the line of scrimmage in the backfield and he got about 2 or 3 big yards. And you get 2 yards inside the 5, you're doing something.
During Middlesex's practices, this is, we said we probably wouldn't see any gimmick, the wishbone or the wing tee, but this is the area where Middlesex was working on the wishbone.
Well, the wishbone is really a power offense down on the goal line. Yeah. It's almost like a full house,
yeah, sure, sure. And it doesn't have to be a true option down here.
No, they won't run option here. They'll run power.
Gain of 2 for Shanafi with 1 minute left in the half. 1 minute.
Joe, is this quarterback an option quarterback? Has he been an option quarterback?
Woodbridge did run some, yep. Woodbridge did run some, yep. Not out of this formation, but they did.
Onder. The players think he's in, and so do the officials. Andrew Onder of Edison with the touchdown. Make that number 31 in his career.
That's a very impressive drive in 2.5 minutes.
Well, they did it through the air primarily.
They did it less than 2 because there's 47 seconds left.
47 seconds to go. Here's the end zone view of the touchdown run by Andrew Onder.
That's just straight power, just everybody blocking straight ahead and leading the back up through.
Middlesex County coaches saw a lot of that the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Hagee on to attempt the point. Caffiero gets the placement down, and the kick is good.
Well, that boy's got a leg pull. He looks like he can reach from 40 with no trouble.
Hagee's going to be going to Trenton State.
75 yards that drive covered in just a little over 2 minutes.
Yeah, when did they get the ball with, Joe? Was it
3:08?
3:08 they had?
14-7, Middlesex County with the lead.
I'm sorry, it was with 2:13.
That's what I thought. I thought it was under 2. It's only a minute and a half.
Yeah, really impressive. What do you think, Union? You think Union might take a shot here if they get decent field position, or?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. Thank you, sir. Hey, Billy. Excuse me. We need the 300 for the officials.
47 seconds to go in the half.
For the officials. Oh, good. Yes. By the way, I just heard Steve on the mic saying, "Let's see what kind of field position we get." Just what you said, Joe. If they good field position, they'll go.
Don't tell me I'm ready to be a football coach.
Yeah. If they get good field position, they'll probably go for it. But if they're inside the 20 or at the 20, they won't.
Makes sense.
We should mention that Lou is double dipping tonight. In addition to working for us, of course, being his school here, he is also working as one of the site managers. So he was just speaking with the other site manager, Bill Parsons, who is always very helpful when we come to visit at Union High.
Everything seems to be under control too.
47 seconds to go. Field position will dictate for Union.
Well, that's no way to get field position. You heard it. They're going to just sit on the ball, obviously.
You got to learn something. Going to 2 football games every weekend for about 7 or 8 years. You have to learn something.
I tell you, if I were the Middlesex coach right now, I'd call 3 timeouts in a row.
I think they have all 3.
They have all 3.
Maybe force a punt.
3 timeouts will only take 15. They're letting the clock run. They're letting the clock run, so I guess they're not going to do that.
And again, this is another rule that I think a lot of people aren't familiar with. That sometimes in the NFL that they'll wait for the snap, but here in high school they start it right away.
Right away, right on.
Often see a lot of time.
Right on the mark.
Yep.
This is McLean.
Oh. Looked like Middlesex might have been in a little bit of a prevent.
Yep.
McLean will take it up the middle. It's a
timeout.
Union
like they're going to throw one deep.
Called by Union. While we have a break, let's go down to the field with the man who has put Middlesex in front. Andrew Onder joins Steve Shofie.
That's right, Paul. We're here with Andrew Onder from Edison. Andrew, how's it feel? Put your team ahead.
It feels real good. It feels real good with the crowd and everything. Real excitement, a lot of excitement tonight and everything. It's been a real pleasure.
You mentioned to me that you're heading towards Kane next year to play football, so you'll be staying right in this area.
Yeah, I'm going to be staying up there playing for the Cougars, and hopefully I'll play fullback, just like I am now.
I have to go
okay, great job. Nice run. Congratulations on a touchdown. Have a continued success tonight.
Thank you. I'll see you in the second half.
Back upstairs to you guys.
Hey, Shofie sounded very confident that he's going to join you again. Andrew Onder with the touchdown, putting Middlesex in front 14-7. So with 10 seconds to go, Steve Cicatelli, after the big run by Bobby McLean, says, well, hey, maybe it's worth 2 long passes if we can get them all.
You don't have to give away any secrets, Lou, but did the coaches and players have enough time to throw in maybe a gimmick play here or there?
I didn't see any
Okay.
in the practices that I saw. I think they were just worried about trying to get the basics down.
They could probably still throw in a basic, Hail Mary,
Yeah.
like
Well,
that's like a playground play. You
I
go
didn't
here, you go here,
yeah.
and
I didn't see it, but I'm sure they have at least one in there, Joe.
if they do, maybe we'll see it here.
By the way,
I was about to say, well, they're going shotgun.
This is almost desecrating the Union Field. Shotgun.
Peterson forced from the pocket. Well,
Let the clock
that
run.
makes up for it, sacking the quarterback. That happens here a lot.
Yep.
And that will do it for the first half of play.
Shannon Johnson, credit for the sack.
That's one of the reasons we don't run shotgun, Paul.
We'll go to the break with the score of Middlesex County 14, Union County 7. As I mentioned, up at the half, Steve Schofi, joined by Barry Haber of Children's Specialized Hospital and Nick Orsino of the Lakeview School in Edison. Those are the charities benefiting from tonight's game. That's coming up right after this short break. We'll be right back.
Do you have any questions, comments, ideas, or concerns about any of the programs here on Suburban Cablevision TV3? Then we invite you to call the Suburban Cablevision TV3 viewer response line at area code 908-851-8521. We'd like to know what you think. You are watching Suburban Cablevision TV3.
Be sure to watch the all-new edition of Info in your town, where you'll see what the Township of Westfield did to celebrate the 4th of July.
You'll also see what can happen if you go a little bit too far on your celebrations.
Don't miss the tour of Artist Studios in Montclair.
Or the Explorers in Linden.
That's all on the next edition of Info in your town.
And only on Suburban Cablevision's TV3.
Hi, this is Steve Schofi, and I'm here with Barry Haber from the Children's Specialized Hospital in Mountainside, one of the recipient charities for this evening's game. Barry, can you tell us a little bit about Children's Specialized Hospital and the work that's done there?
Yes, Children's Specialized Hospital is New Jersey's only pediatric rehabilitation facility. We provide help to children who have post-operative rehabilitation needs, children who have suffered severe head and spinal cord injuries, congenital diseases, both inpatient and outpatient services.
And being one of the recipient charities for this evening is important, not only because of the money that might be generated here this evening by the crowd, but also it gives us all an opportunity to raise awareness of Children's Specialized Hospital and the work that's done there, right?
Most definitely. We really appreciate the fact that we have been chosen as a recipient of the proceeds of this game. There are only 12 hospitals like ours in the United States, so it's important that people know we are there to help if the need is there.
And if someone wanted to volunteer their services, would your institution welcome it, and can they call and leave their name?
Most definitely. Volunteers are the foundation of any nonprofit organization, and they can call the hospital anytime they want, and we're more than happy to accept them.
Okay, great. Enjoy the rest of the game, Barry. Now if we can just bring in Nick Orsino from the Lakeview School in Edison. Hi, Nick. How you doing?
Very well, thank you. Beautiful day.
No, it's great. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about your institution and the work you do.
The Lakeview School is committed to children with multiple disabilities between the ages of 3 years and 21 years. We offer a comprehensive program of medical, rehabilitative, and educational services to children with very severe developmental disabilities.
How does it feel to be honored as being one of the recipient charities for this first annual Snapple Bowl?
Well, we're extremely thrilled. It's a great evening for special education. It's a great evening for football. As a graduate of Union High School, I'm very delighted to be back to my alma mater and hopefully see a very good game tonight.
That's got to be special for you.
It is.
Again, I'll ask the same question I asked Barry. If someone wanted to volunteer their services, could they call Lakeview School and leave their name?
Volunteers are extremely important to the work that we do in serving children with disabilities. We do have a special place for volunteers. Lakeview School is a very special place for children. For those who are seeing the broadcast who would like to be a part of the work of the Lakeview and see the miracles that we do day to day, can call us at 549 5580. Lakeview School is sponsored by the Cerebral Palsy Association of Middlesex County, and we are located in Edison, New Jersey.
That's great. I want to thank you and Barry for being here this evening, and congratulations on being the recipient charities for this first annual Snapple Bowl. That's all from here. Please remember to stay tuned for the rest of the game.
It's interesting that human beings always want to help for somebody else, but not for themselves.
I always said to my children, what I went through, you'll never go through.
It was just a terrifying, terrifying feeling. I just saw the most unbelievable fire that I've ever seen. The entire sky was lit.
I think now I've been around there enough. This is my third year, and I really have the itch where I really want to play, and I think I can make a contribution.
There's a lot of pressure on these kids, and you can't fault the parents. They want what's best for the kids.
You're angry, you're frustrated, you're sad.
I enjoy baseball because I like the time to analyze the game.
I think that churches, as a rule, will be more caring.
Well, you never know who's going to be on a signature.
(14-7) our halftime score. Middlesex in front after Union County had taken the lead. Down with Steve Schofi is the Union head coach Steve Cicatelli. Schof.
Paul, that's right. We have head coach Steve Cicatelli here with us. Coach, I know you're down 14-7 right now, but you got to be happy with the way your team's playing.
I'm very pleased with it. Yeah, I thought there'd be more mistakes, and the kids are doing a good job. So if I got to go, they just kicked off.
Good luck. Back upstairs.
Coming to the near sidelines. So Middlesex kicking off to start half number 2.
Looks like Shinestool's going to be starting at quarterback. He completed 3 of 4 passes in the opening half for 45 yards and the 1 touchdown.
The 1 big touchdown toss that he threw to Melvin Brown. Caban tries to get to the outside, caught by the ankle.
Looks like
flag on the play.
Looks like a big face mask, and that's what turned the first half around, that face mask penalty. Let's see if it does the same for Union.
And we learned from coach, whenever we see the late flag, that's bad news for the defense usually.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what it's going to be.
Early flag, it's always offense, Joe.
And I guess going the other halftime stat I have, Paul, is Jamal Bowman led the Middlesex team with 2 sacks for a loss of 13 yards. He's kind of emerged a little bit. And of course, that's his coach calling the defensive signal, Sal Mistretta, defensive coordinator of Middlesex.
That'll move the ball out to the 36-yard line, and it will be a first down for Union County.
No, it's not.
Lou, maybe you could talk about it. I think again we talked about the feeling out period. And this, halftime is always important for adjustments.
Right.
I'll get to it after this part.
Counter action. Well played.
Caban caught from behind.
How important do you think that 15-minute period was to each of the coaches and to the players to make any adjustments? Did they have enough time to do
I think
some
they
stuff?
did. Yes, I think we usually try to stretch it to 20. To give it a little more time. On our games, we try to go 20, but 15, they got enough done.
Nikita Ziegler with the tackle. By the way, we have switched our wireless microphone this half. It's now being worn by Sal Mistretta, the defensive coordinator of Middlesex. You can hear him in the background calling out some signals.
I'll tell you what's going to be big, Joe and Paul, conditioning over the 60-minute game. We're going to see what happens in the fourth quarter.
Right. Second and 10.
Picked up
blitz
the blitz
picked up.
very well.
Shinestool tossed to the outside, tipped away. Incomplete.
They came with a full-out blitz, and the Union people picked it up very well that time.
Hey, draw, screen.
In essence, the teams are playing 5 high school quarters. 60-minute ball game.
That's correct.
It's only 4 quarters. Essentially, it's an extra quarter. So you're right, and they're doing it in the middle of July.
Right. The one thing I think that both teams are doing, which will help them, they're alternating almost every series to try to keep kids fresh. One of the things I should mention, Paul, the fastest kid on the Union team is out. Shane Jacobs got a little bit of a concussion. He won't be playing the second half.
Blitz is on, pitched back to Caban. And Caban does his best just to get back to the line of scrimmage. That one was improvised by John Scheinstuhl.
I think that was a case really where you see how all the players on the field are very talented, very good at what they do. Normally, sometimes you see a running back escape the initial pursuit or the first tackle. Sometimes he can get by that second load of tacklers here, but you can't do that in this game. Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
So after this first series, Union will give it away.
See if we see a fake reverse here or some sort of trick play. But like you said, last time Union had it defense pretty well, had it covered both sides.
Yep.
Kucharski will punt it away.
Here we go, here we go.
Good punt. They have it covered very, very well. Oh, he got away.
Darrell Taylor.
Oh, and they're going to give him 15.
Taylor takes it out to the 42. And then the flag will add 15 more yards.
I'll tell you what, that was a heck of an effort by the return man because he was stopped for no gain, if not a loss.
Well, we've seen Darrell Taylor through the years make some outstanding plays for the South River
You
Rams.
talk about he was in all selected News Tribune all area as a kick returner 2 years ago, and has been selected as a defensive back and receiver. Really, and again, anybody.
We're going to send it down to the sidelines because we have a very familiar face here at Union High School, now playing at Rutgers, Brian Sheridan.
That's right, Paul. I'm here with Brian Sheridan, former Union great, now with the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. Brian, how's it feel to come back to your home field and see a crowd like this? Give you goosebumps a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, this is a great game, a great opportunity for a lot of these guys. A little sorry I didn't have it last year. I know I wouldn't be able to play in it because I played in the North-South game, but a lot of the guys that I played with, coming up through the program, I know they'd love the opportunity to play. But, it is a great opportunity for these guys to show, people in Union County, Middlesex County, what they can do, and it looks like they're taking advantage of it. It's a good game so far.
How are things for you down at Rutgers with the Scarlet Knights?
It's very good. We went to a new defense this year. We went to a 4-3, and a lot of players are optimistic. Everybody's getting ready. We report to camp August 12th, which is a Friday. The stadium's just about done, and we're just hoping we have a lot of support, with our tough schedule. So everything's looking good so far.
You have to be excited about that new stadium.
Oh yeah, I mean it was one of the recruiting tools in getting me, and I mean you took a lot of you look at a lot of pictures and stuff. When you're getting recruited, I know a lot of the guys also this year did that too. But when you get to see it firsthand, you get to see it live. I mean it looks so much more better than what you really see in pictures, and it really takes your breath away.
Brian, your former high school coach is up in the booth right now. You have anything you want to say to Coach Rotino?
Well, Coach, I know you're fighting hard and everything like that, and we're pulling for you. And you know how much everybody loves you, and we know that you'll pull through, and we know we'll be okay because you're just a fighter.
Thanks a lot, Brian.
Anything you'd like to say to Brian? Steve, keep Brian there for a second.
Come on back.
Lou, anything you'd like to say to Brian?
Where is he?
He's right here with me, Lou.
Brian?
Let me give him my earpiece.
I'm really looking forward to seeing you play middle linebacker. I know you're going to do for Rutgers what you did for Union. One of my all-time favorites. Good luck.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Okay, Brian.
Steve, thanks very much. You can tell Brian that there's still a number 43 jersey hanging in the locker room that Coach Rotino will give him anytime he wants to come back out on the field.
Well, you got that right. When you have a horse, you ride him, and we rode him for 2 years to 2 undefeated teams. And
now I'll tell you, a great young man. He was a guest on my Time In show back in early May.
Class.
Just a great young man.
Works hard in the classroom too, Paul. He's a very good student, and he does it with hard work. Just like his attitude on the field is the same as it is in the classroom and off the field. He's a great kid.
And now we got to get him some wins for the Scarlet Knights.
You got it. They have a tough opening schedule.
Well, one thing you mentioned, Lou, which I'm sure you're glad to hear. I think you've spoken about it in the past. Is now with those lights installed, maybe they can have some Saturday night games, which I know you've been a big proponent of.
Right, because I think it's important that they get a lot of the high school players from New Jersey getting down here to see that stadium. They're getting more and more of the top quality players from the state now, and if they can do that and get a lot of the kids there, I think it's going to even make it that much better.
All right, just to recap quickly, on the return, there was a personal foul that has been assessed to Union County. The ball has been moved into Union territory at the 48-yard line. So that's where Middlesex will start from, with 12-12 to go in the third quarter, and Middlesex leading 14-7.
I'll tell you, Paul, this is a very important stop here. If the defense doesn't rise and stop them here, it's going to be a tough second half for Union.
And remember, keep in mind that Matt Hagee is the place kicker for Middlesex, so maybe 2 first downs would be enough just to get them for an attempt at a field goal.
Well, looking at him kick extra points, it looks like he can reach from 40 with no trouble. So they get down to the 30-yard line, inside the 30.
So a very big series here for the Union defense.
Very much so. Reverse, little
Hagee
action.
to Dakiai.
He's going to score, maybe.
Ishmael Dakiai is going to go inside the 5. Ish Dakiai, one of the fastest players on the field this evening, but there is a penalty flag down at the 35. Sometimes when you get those against the grain plays, you have an illegal block.
Very often it's a low block when you're running a kind of reverse play. More than a clip, you'll get the low block an awful lot. I don't know what they'll call here. No, it is a clip. It is a clip.
Clip called, so Ishmael Dakiai, who played 6 different positions this year, as he was used to his fullest by head coach Joe Policastro Jr. Unfortunately, that run will come back.
Joe Policastro Jr. following in the footsteps of his father, who I'm sure you're familiar with, Lou. He's involved in the North-South game.
Very close
at
friend.
Highland Park.
We've been close friends for a long time. In fact, Joe keeps telling me that you go back to Italy, and there's a connection with the families. That there's a relationship way back, and that's very possible.
And they're both probably mourning the World Cup loss. Oh, wait, that's enough soccer talk.
You got it.
So again, the penalty brings the ball back from the point of the infraction. It is still a gain of about 6, we'll call it, because it's 1st and 5, we'll call it.
Well, he's a hard runner under, isn't he? The first guy never brings him down. Very rarely.
I think one of the problems that the Union people are facing in the first half, I didn't think the tackling was very good. I thought they did a very poor job of tackling. They did a good job stuffing it at the line of scrimmage, but the secondary people, the pursuit just didn't bring the people down. And
these ball carriers aren't going to go down on the first.
That's right.
Not when you're all-stars.
That's right.
And good evidence on that play. Laquan Brown, the cornerback, made the tackle.
There's that same play that they ran for the touchdown. He got outside again.
Yep. And that's the same man who ran the touchdown, Kamishi Jackson.
Well, Kamisi has really got to be pumped up. I mean, like I say, Monroe is rebuilding. Coach Hudak has it headed the right way, but I know he's never played in a crowd this, in front of a crowd this big, and I don't think Monroe played too many night games, so he's really got to be fired up.
That's a great opportunity for a lot of the schools, especially some of the small schools, that they really didn't get a chance, especially the teams that had losing records, to get into this game. It really caps their high school career.
A great evening here at Union High School for the first annual Snapple Bowl. Hagee will put it down. Wenslaw helps bring him down. Again, this game brought to you by Snapple and the News Tribune. Wendell Bates, 26 solo tackles for the Minutemen of Elizabeth. He'll be going to Kane College just down the road.
There's a kid that really enjoyed this week, Paul, because he was a replacement for Sepulveda from Elizabeth, and he's done an outstanding job.
Gain of 1 on the play, 2nd and 9 for Middlesex.
So they're doing a good job at the line of scrimmage. It's when they break that first tackle that Union's in trouble.
Yeah. Edmonds, he's used to running behind Bobby Edmonds, his fullback, and who was a great defensive end, headed to Boston College. And he's not playing in this game because one of the rules, and I think it's a good one, is that if you play in the North-South game, you can't participate. And I think it kind of spreads the wealth around.
Right. I know at Union County we had 9 players in that game, and of course that dilutes the talent. But there's enough talent out here, as you can see.
Sure.
3rd and 9.
It's a
fake
naked
to
bootleg.
Jackson. Long pass down the middle, intercepted.
unfortunately, that's for Union. That's better than the punt for Middlesex.
Exactly. Edmonds with the interception, and he is brought down at the 6.
Kids are always going to go for the ball, but that I don't know if they would have punted on 4th down, but if they did, that would have been a great punt getting it inside the 5.
Just a natural instinct to go
Oh
for the ball.
you're always going to do that.
Sure.
And offensively, a great call. Throw it that far.
Of course, in the NFL, they do that because they get paid on statistics a lot. You know, they don't care if it's better for the team. If they get an extra interception, they'll grab it.
So a long way to go for the Union County All-Stars with 9:25 left in the 3rd quarter.
Nice
but
run.
Marco Caban
Nice
gets
run.
a lot of the yardage back. And
Straight power.
I know
Straight
he
power.
did that very often the few
Yes, he
times
sure
that
did.
you were backed up.
He sure did. And what they did that time, they went wide one way and they came back to the tight end side. They go wide slot one way, and then they come back to the weak side, but it's really not the weak side when you have the tight end there.
One of the Middlesex players commented to us that they knew Marco would come and play hard. That he's known for that, even
He's
over
a
in
gamer.
Middlesex County.
He's a gamer. And
Missed handle on the snap.
By the way, the one thing about Marco is, he made first team All-State as a defensive player. He's a great free safety.
Interception by Lamont Adams. He joins Steve Schofield right now.
Paul, we have Lamont Adams right here. Came up with that big interception for the Union County team. Kind of pulled them out of a hole there. Lamont, how you feel about that play?
I feel great. We came in here with a lot of high intensity, and then the intensity fell, and I felt that I had to come out, give them my heart and try to do something to give us a momentum breaker. And now I think we're about to score. We're going to do what we got to do now.
Sure did a good job on that. Back upstairs.
Caban will take it across the 20-yard line. Interesting, and again, talking about the bios we had the players fill out, we asked them for a game they would always remember. Marco Caban wrote down, there is a game that, the game I will never forget is not a game we won, but rather the game we lost to Irvington.
Yeah. It's the only loss in 3 years, so all of our kids remember that very well.
A couple of long kickoff returns that game, right?
Yes.
I don't want to bring up bad memories.
Orrin Marshman really beat us, almost single-handedly. He had a great game.
1,177 rushing yards for Marco Caban. 3rd and 5, big down for the Union All-Stars. Fumble. Coleman comes up with it.
By the way, Paul, I have to mention this. One of the problems is the original center who played center was not able to play in this game. The original one picked. So what they had to do is they had to shift 2 tackles. The kids that played tackle during the regular year, Kubarov from Governor Livingston and Romeo, and I think it's Antonucci from Roseau Park, never played center before. And we knew that was going to be a problem, and it happened on that series.
Not until this series.
No, I know. It's very unusual that you have a kid that never played center before and have no bad snaps. But they knew that was going to be a problem coming in.
Kucharski with a good floater. Taylor decides to let it roll, and it will be down at the Middlesex 45. You're watching the first annual Union County Middlesex County All-Star football game. Middlesex leads 14-7. I'm Paul Spahala. With me, Lou Rutino, head coach of the Union Farmers, and Joe Skreck of the News Tribune.
Just to go back to that point, Paul, about the bad snaps, the problems. It was even more difficult because some teams take the ball one way from the center, and they're not doing it this way. And so Kubarov, who did play a little center in the past, was still unfamiliar with that snap.
Whitner with a nice run. Seems like he's been in there quite a few times. I know Jackson's had a few runs, but I guess either Jackson or Whitner. Rashawn's running off the field now.
The ironic thing about this game, a lot of people said there was going to be a lot of trickery, a lot of this and that. Both teams are playing very basic football.
Yes. It seems both Middlesex is doing a lot of substituting in their backfield, more so on downs than on series.
Within the series, yes.
Yeah.
Again, they switch. Dakiai is back in. He's now split out. Onder
made the first down. Good effort from the fullback.
I don't know when. Maybe Lou can pick it up from the formation possibly, but I would expect Middlesex to come back with that reverse play to ish one more time before the game's over.
I would think so. They really had the Union defense really pursuing to the football. That's just a good hard effort from the fullback. I mean, he bounces off people and gets 3 or 4 yards.
Tough earned yards.
And now again, Feeney and
that's what you
Under
want
are
from
out.
your fullback. That's what you're looking for from your fullback. He's got to be able to get that extra yard after he's hit.
Shanafi is back in. Caffiero throws, completed.
They're almost in field goal range now, Paul, and that could be a big field goal.
Omar Garvin of Highland Park on the reception.
Again, we're faced with a very big stop on the part of the Union. If they don't stop him here, we got a problem.
Garvin was a tight end at Highland Park, which kind of, here you see a nice catch. Kind of a little bit of rebuilding years after losing Bruce Presley to Rutgers. Set a couple of scoring records, and has really had some success already for the Scarlet Knights.
1st and 10 for Middlesex. And it's possible that Caffiero drew the Union County All-Stars offsides.
That's something they sure didn't need on the 26-yard line, I'll tell you that. And now they're really in field goal range.
With 4:50 to go in the third quarter. Very quick third quarter so far.
Yes, very little throwing. And the throws that were there were completed, so the clock keeps moving.
Maybe it's just because I'm having so much fun, but it doesn't seem like the 15 minutes, the extra 3 minutes has added too much to the game. It really hasn't stretched it out too much. Which is nice because it's giving more players a chance to get in and a few more reps.
That's the reason we did it. We did it with the North-South game first to try to get everybody enough playing time.
Oh, do they do 15 minutes?
Yes, we did.
Dakiai split wide right.
That's why, Joe, that was the only change we made for this game. We went with strictly high school rules, but it added an extra 12 minutes. These kids, you know, they deserve to play.
Oh, I think I saw a flag.
If it's against Union, it's going to put the ball on the 10.
Somebody was doing a little too much after the whistle.
Let's wait for the call by Harry Hatch. Personal foul against the Union All-Stars. And that will be more than enough for another Middlesex first down. The game plan for this All-Star series, you really can't say too much about it being a series. It's only the first one, but the game plan is that it will alternate between Union County and Middlesex County. Already the plan is that next year it will be at Sayreville High School.
Correct.
Sayreville is just a football crazy town. They had gone 23 years without a winning team, and they still showed up every Friday night. They've made the playoffs the last 2 years. So now Sayreville, besides being known as the home of John Bon Jovi, is the home of a successful football team, and a great crowd here at Union High School. And hopefully we're going to have the game next year, and I would expect just as well a crowd at the.
I think it'll be even bigger because the first one it's hard to get the news out. Now everybody knows about it, and that's why I'm surprised we had so much from Union here because there wasn't a lot of publicity in this area.
Yeah, very impressive turnout for a first year.
Yes,
we've all found wrinkles that can be ironed out. I know Marcus has found some. All the coaches, the riders, and I'm sure next year will be even a little smoother operation.
I agree.
Under 4 minutes.
Again, same thing, Paul. They went trips to the right side with all the strength on the right side and then ran back to the short side.
And that's something they've consistently done this evening.
Yes.
Actually, Joe, I always thought that I heard that Sayreville was the home of Sal Mistretta, and now they're also calling it the home of John Bon Jovi.
Yeah. I know that Sal has been backstage with Bon Jovi. And I don't know if Bon Jovi requested that or if Sal requested that.
I'll tell you something else, Paul. Talking to Marcus Borden and Sal, they think they're going to be able to try to get Bon Jovi to perform at halftime next year.
Well, that is the anticipated goal.
Scoop.
Yeah, that would be nice, I tell you.
I'm glad I didn't read that in another paper.
Yeah, I got that straight from Marcus himself.
Okay.
I think that would put a few more people in the stands even.
Maybe we can wrap up Bon Jovi, but he was at the playoff game for a little bit last year, so he does follow the team. He sent him hats a couple years ago, which is kind of neat.
Back into that full house again.
Fumble.
That's back into that full house. You say the wishbone, but it's really a power formation.
You're right.
And this time it is the Middlesex All-Stars that have a little trouble with the snap.
Be interesting if they don't make it, Paul, whether they're going to kick the field goal or go for the 7. If I'm them, I kick the field goal and take the 10-point lead.
Take the 10-point lead.
Scored twice.
Yep.
So we'll be third. A little over 5 to go.
And Hagee's Caffiero's running the show now, so Hagee might be on the sideline warming up either, which I think would be a little bit of an advantage for him.
Yep.
3rd and goal to go from the 5. Caffiero looking to throw, tosses it out, incomplete.
Good rush from.
That was Kevin Kirby at Roselle Park. Real nice pressure.
And a big point here, that's being called a lateral. It's being called a lateral, so the ball's being marked back to the 17-yard line.
Still in plenty of range for that kicker.
Although now they're going to redo it. It is the forward progress of the ball.
Well, that was close.
Well, that's close.
Yeah.
That could go either way.
However, the ball is being returned to the 6.
Well, nobody jumped on it. That was really a fumble if it's a lateral.
Yep. Well, it hit off the receiver's hands, then rolled out of bounds, and the official on that sideline,
that pass almost
flew
back
marked down at the 17.
That was close.
Well, anyway, Nagy is on 4th and 5 to attempt a extra point.
Cafiero
field goal,
holding.
excuse me.
That's like an extra point for him, I think.
But it's
blocked. Big play. Big play. Now that's a big play. That means you only need one score.
And I'm not quite sure whether it was Kevin Kirby or Sean Roberts who knocked it down. It possibly was Kirby.
And thinking ahead, Paul, I wonder if when Union scores, if they do score next, whether they'll go for the 2 or the tie.
Well, that would be, it depends.
I think in an all-star game, I'm going to go for the win.
Good.
Who wants a tie?
If you score early, maybe you still go for the 1, but if
it's in the 3rd quarter, but if it's in the 4th quarter, I'm going to go for the win.
2:15 to go in the 3rd quarter. Not much of the 3rd quarter left.
Well, if it's early in the 4th quarter, I'd still kick it.
Yeah, probably the 7-5-minute mark, something like that. That's where you really make that decision.
Exactly.
Here comes McLean.
You know, they're running the ball, and they love to run it to that left side because that's where the 2 big horses are. Both Mingucci and Chenoyne and Martinez from Linden and Elizabeth and Union, respectively.
Chenoyne will be joining Lamont Adams at Temple next year. A couple of good recruits for Coach Dickinson as he tries
6'6",
to
275. He's got real potential.
Danny Mangucci's father sitting about 10 rows in front of us.
Right, and that's Martinez from Elizabeth, another real prospect, 6'2", 275.
They just get bigger and bigger.
Yep, and the amazing thing is, Paul, that they have good feet now, the big kids. The big kids used to be kind of, lumbering out there. It's amazing how many guys 260 and 270 have quick feet. I think the training has really
I was going to say,
changed.
is that all takes place in the weight room?
Well, a lot of it in the weight room. I know at Union here, we go 3 days a week in the weight room in the summertime and 2 days a week on agility and running drills. And I think that's where the feet really come up.
3rd and 2 for the Union All-Stars. In just a moment, we'll talk to the young man who blocked the field goal and kept this a 7-point ball game. Peterson tripped up in the backfield. He will not have the first down. Kevin Kirby got his hand on the field goal. He's down with Steve Shofie. Steve? Oh, sorry, Sean Roberts.
Yeah, Paul, I'm here with Sean Roberts from Scotch Plains, who blocked that field goal. Sean, had to be a great feeling to knock that ball down.
Oh, yeah, I love the sting. Love the sting. It feels great. Feels great.
Sean, that was a big play because it keeps you guys within 1 score.
Hopefully we'll be able to come back on that. Hopefully our offense will be able to pull through.
Good luck tonight.
Thanks a whole lot. Bye.
Back up, Steve.
We'll take Sean's word for it. If the sting is there, it was Sean Roberts who blocked the field goal. Kucharski on for the punt. He gets off another good kick. Here comes Darrell Taylor to the near sideline. And Taylor runs it across the 50, and that will do it for the 3rd quarter of play. A scoreless 3rd quarter here in the first annual Union Middlesex All-Star football game. We'll take a short break right now with the score still Middlesex County 14, Union County 7.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Hi from Snapple, an iced tea drinker from Atlanta writes, are your commercials for real or are the people just actors? Ask them yourself.
Come here. I said the only good thing that ever came out of New York was Snapple. Come here, Shane. Oh, I can't believe it.
So you don't think the people are real? Well, we're real, Luther.
I believe you now.
Made from the best stuff on earth.
I'm a real person.
All right, a big 4th down coming up for the Union County All-Stars. Short yardage following the punt, Middlesex will take over. John Wagner, the Union County defensive coordinator, has come back from talking to his club.
John was involved in the North-South game this year. I think he was
Yes.
the one with all-star game experience on the staff this year.
In fact, he's been in the last couple of games for us because the North-South coaches are strictly the sectional champions.
Oh, I
you
didn't
have
know
to be
that.
a sectional champion to coach in the game, and John has been the sectional champ the last 2 years, so he coached with us the last 2 years.
He was sporting a nice watch on his wrist, I think, in
Yeah,
that game.
yeah.
That's good.
You get to meet some great coaches in that game. I've been fortunate enough to be the executive director of the game the last 2 years, and I will be again next year. And you get the top coaches in the state.
Yeah, I know it's a thrill for the kids.
It really is. That was a great game this year, too, 21-16, a great game.
Derek Carter of Middlesex County had a big game, right?
Yeah.
Then Ellen.
Along with Chunk Bowles, one of the great names. Pass
Oh, he
thrown
got
from the
wide open.
backfield. Was he in bounds?
Yes.
He was.
There's a little
That was
trickery.
Feeney, yep, Feeney.
Foray to Feeney. The question was, did Feeney keep his foot in bounds? And he did.
Woodbridge players can't do anything wrong.
Feeney with 7 touchdown receptions over the past 2 years. Hauls it in from Boré.
I'm going to put these on and see better.
And Middlesex again striking through the air.
Seems like most of the second half has been near Union's goal line.
Yeah,
or Union's end of the field at least.
Nagy pitches it back to
There's that same
Jackson. This is the play he scored on,
Sealed
very
again.
similar. And this time he's just pushed out by Laquan Brown.
He got a real nice block there from number 5, Jeff Shanafy of East Brunswick. Real nice block that kind of sprung him to the outside. And again, I think that was the same play they went for the touchdown.
Absolutely. And what they're doing is they're pulling the left guard, leading with the fullback, trying to kick out with the guard, and then leading with the fullback. You see the left guard pulling, and the fullback leading. Very basic, simple play, but they run it real well. Normally that's designed to go inside the trap block, but the kid read it and made the bounce outside, and that's always the option of a good back.
Official timeout for a measurement. Early stages of the fourth quarter, Middlesex leading 14-7. And this would be a huge score. Union offense has not produced much since an early touchdown pass. John Scheinstuhl connecting with Melvin Brown of Plainfield.
No, you're speaking about that toss to the outside. The good backs, we always tell our backs, they're looking for the cutback inside off the kick-out block. But the good backs, we give them their head and say, when you think you can bounce and get to the outside, if they're forcing a little too hard on the outside, you do it. And that's the good backs do that. And that's what the Middlesex backs have done consistently on that play.
Tony Stewart probably did that a couple times,
Once
right?
or twice. Once or twice. Once or twice a quarter.
Kamishi Jackson scored early in the second quarter for Middlesex County, and then Andrew Onder scored late in the first half, and that has given Middlesex the 14-7 lead. Stewart now playing for the Calgary Stampeders in the CFL.
That's nice. That we talk about the fullback running for a couple of hard yards like Onder's doing there, and that's kind of opening up the outside. Is that right, Coach?
Exactly. You've got to keep that inside threat.
Got to keep him. Got to make him respected and honor it.
Exactly.
Ball marked at the 10, a gain of 4 on the play. And again, 3-player substitution for Middlesex, keeping freshmen in the backfield.
I think you're right, Paul. I think I've noticed Middlesex substituting within the series a little bit more than Union has. Union has gone series by series.
Series by series, exactly.
Shanafy and Borey are in the backfield for Middlesex. It is Borey.
It's there.
Outside, he's across the 5, but he fumbles into the end zone. Touchdown, recovered by Middlesex County. He was hit inside the 5, fumbled it. Fitzpatrick bobbled it at the 2. It rolled into the end zone. And it is recovered.
Matt Emery, another Woodbridge player.
Matt Emery. An offensive guard. Watch the sequence. There the ball pops free. Fitzpatrick can't hold on to it. But Emery is there.
That looks like number... No, it looks like number 3 recovered it. I think think Emery grabbed.
No,
the
Emery,
ball.
he came in for the celebration.
I think Emery grabbed the ball, but I don't think he recovered the ball.
All right, it was very
Looked like
possibly
Fitzpatrick.
Looked like
came up with it.
Fitzpatrick, exactly.
I'm sure Steve Shofey down on the ground will clear it up for us. But either way, it is a 20-7 lead for Middlesex County.
Fitzpatrick played tight end, some tight end for New Brunswick, but he's really a wide receiver, 5'10", 180, and he, showed a real good nose for the ball there.
And now it appears as if Middlesex is going to go for 2.
And here's another slight rule change, is that if you're going to go for 2, you have to do it out of a regular set. You cannot fake on the extra point.
They put that in, and I think that's a good rule. For an all-star game, there's only so many things you can prepare for.
So rather than settle for the 14-point lead, it looks like Middlesex is going to go for the throat early here in the fourth quarter. Although Nagy is on.
They moved the ball over to the hash pole to give them a long field. Whether they're going to try to set something up back to the short side or not remains to be seen. A lot of teams do this when they're going for 2. They move the ball to the hash. We always leave it in the middle when we're going for 2.
All right, so Middlesex, they show trips right,
unbalanced
which means,
left.
Guess where they're going?
You got, well.
No, that's true, not this time. Nagy rolls right. Hagee trying for the pylon, and he's forced out. So the conversion attempt is no good.
Well, that time they went with the strength. In the past, they've been going trips one way and coming back the other side, but that time they went with the strength. They didn't even have a back in the backfield. They had 4 wide on that side.
So a crucial miss.
Yeah, that could come back.
By the Middlesex All-Stars.
Hi, Nick. Here we are saying hello to passing fans while we're on the air.
And quick injury update. We heard about Shane Jacobs earlier. Right now, John Budd on the Union sideline is having his ankle iced down, so it's likely we've seen the last of the New Providence Pioneer.
Despite the 2 touchdowns, still a little bit more than the usual high school quarter left.
There's
Plenty of time. We've seen Shinestone and Peterson both look effective at times throwing the ball. In fact, they probably had more success throwing the ball than running it. So
well, one of the problems is they just haven't had any field position in the second half. They've got to get some field position if they're going to open it up.
There's John Budd with his ankle being iced down, so it is likely he's out from the game. And for Middlesex County, Ernie Nieves, a fine, talented performer out of Kennedy High School, was injured early in practice and is not obviously playing tonight, but he is here enjoying being an all-star. 20-7 lead for Middlesex County. Adams backs up to the 1, puts the ball on the grass, picks it up. He's across the 20 and makes his way out to the 24.
You know, one of the things that's going to hurt Union down the stretch is the fact that their fastest player, Shane Jacobs, who's a big play kind of guy, he's had, I think, 6 or 7 touchdowns over 50 yards this year, either running the screen or a deep pass, and they don't have that threat right now. And you know, they still have good receivers, but he is their quickest, and he's the big play guy. And you know, when you get to the fourth quarter, you're looking for big plays when you're 2 touchdowns behind.
I think we can look for those Middlesex County pass rushers led by Jamal Bowman
Exactly.
maybe to turn it up a notch here. I think they know that Union might have to go to the air, so maybe we'll look for that.
Right, and their biggest threat, as I said, is out of the game, the biggest long ball threat.
All right, first down for the Union All-Stars. After this play, we will solve the mystery of who scored the Middlesex touchdown. Incomplete. Steve Shofey, give us the correct answer here. Who came up with the football?
All right, Paul, I'm here with Matt Emery from Woodbridge, an offensive guard who scored the Middlesex County's last touchdown. Matt, it's not that often an offensive lineman gets to score a touchdown. It's got to be a big thrill for you.
Yeah, well, offensive line making holes, push people back. It's just glad one of us gets in the paper, you know, somebody gets a big name on the TV or whatever you do. You know, static.
Great way to end your high school career, right?
Yeah, well, state championship was nice too when we won. But it's going to be fun. The rest of the game, the rest of the game.
Attaboy, good luck the rest of the night.
Thank you.
I think Matt stole the ball from his team.
Peterson throws, gets it to the outside.
You being a former lineman, Lou, you wouldn't mind the guys in the trenches getting a little bit of
I
glory.
hate to tell you, Joe, I was not a former lineman. I was a running back.
Oh, wow.
And in fact, in high school I played safety, but in college I played a lot of linebacker.
But although, isn't it true that you were drafted by 2 different teams, one offensive and one defensive?
Exactly. The Packers drafted me as a defensive player, a linebacker. The Jets, they were the Titans then, drafted me as a running back. And I played running back up in Canada. I was kind of a chunky running back. Now I look like a wide receiver.
Third down, we'll call it 6 for the Union All-Stars. Paxson, the lone man in the backfield. He's there to block, and he throws a good one. Peterson throwing on the run, tipped away but caught. And this is going to go all the way for Isaac Nelson, the 20, the 10, the 5, touchdown Union County. It was a big break, but it was a break that the Union All-Stars needed. Tipped away on the interception attempt, and Isaac Nelson of Hillside scores the touchdown.
Well, the nicest thing about that play is I think it's going to keep people in the stands for the rest of the game. We always like tight games in All-Star games. You know, you like the people to stay right to the end, just like the North-South game this year. Came down to the final minute. Tipped.
Looked like Feeney tipped that. Looked like Feeney, who's caught some big balls and had his hand on another one, but he only tipped it. And Nelson
Big
did the rest.
Big extra point here, Paul.
Yeah, makes that decision that Middlesex went for 2, maybe.
You got almost a whole quarter of a high school
That's
quarter
right,
left.
Yeah.
Marco Caban on to attempt the extra point. The hold by Scheinstuhl. And the kick had plenty of height on it.
Marco has never missed a key kick for us. The only time I think he missed was in the Randolph finals when he had a bad leg and we shouldn't have even tried to kick him, but he insisted on trying and he just couldn't do it.
Well, it was easy for you for the past few years. You just had to pencil in the name of Caban as your kicker.
For 3 years, even as a sophomore when he didn't play varsity.
But I'm talking about his brother also.
He was our varsity kicker, and of course Andre preceded him as one of our fine tailbacks. Who's here, by the way, watching the game with his family.
Let's head back down to the sideline with Steve Shofie. Steve?
Okay, Paul, I'm here with Chris Peterson, who just threw that touchdown pass. Chris, got to be a great feeling to get your team back in the game here.
Oh, definitely. This game is going back and forth, and it's a great game so far, and we had to step this up because both teams, we got to keep our offense and defense together. Our offense had to step something up so far.
Okay, great. I got Isaac Nelson here. Isaac, come on in. Great catch. It was a tip ball, and you had your concentration, and you kept your eyes on the ball, brought it in, scored. Great job.
Thanks. I was trying to concentrate on the ball, and I just ran a touchdown. That's all, too. Got a little lucky there.
Got to be a great feeling, get you guys back in the game. Yeah, good luck the rest of the night. Back upstairs, Paul.
All right, Isaac Nelson with the catch. His assistant coach, his head coach, rather, John Kay, is here as an assistant coach for the Union All-Stars. When we get a moment, we'll meet all the assistant coaches for the teams. Ball is picked up by Onder.
Looks like Onder.
And Onder is brought down at the 30-yard line. So it's a 20-14 game, and these Union County fans are into the game right now.
And it doesn't look like too many from the Middlesex side have left. I don't think that they think it's over by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, let's see if that big play gets the defense revved up, Paul. They gotta get a stop here.
In addition to Sal Mastretta and Marcus Borden, these are the other Middlesex coaches: John Coppola of South Brunswick, Rich Marchese of South River, Joe DeMario of Kennedy, George Misak of Middlesex, Joe Policastro Jr. of North Brunswick, and Nick Spadafino, an assistant coach at East Brunswick. Caffiero pitches it back.
Got room.
Dakiai.
Same play.
This is the same play they ran before for big yardage. Ish Dakiai across the 50, finally dragged down at the 45.
Don't see any flags.
This time, no penalties.
That's a good time to make that call to get the momentum back on the Middlesex side. It was a heck of a call by whoever the offense.
Union players are a little more juiced up from after scoring in the crowd.
And they're going to chase the ball. They're going to chase the ball, and that's exactly what they did. It's a perfect time to call that play. And it gets them really back the momentum on their side when it was starting to go the other way. Great call by, I guess it's Marcus. Marcus Borden is the offensive coordinator.
He'll take credit for it.
Yeah, why not?
Haven't been too many plays run on the Middlesex side in the second half. Even Union score started in their own territory.
Exactly.
Whitner, a tough yard.
By the way, I mentioned, you talked about coaches. I don't know how they're doing it in Middlesex, but what we did in Union County, there are 16 schools. So we decided that 8 schools would coach 1 year and 8 the next year, and it doesn't have to be the head coach. Like in our case, I got my top assistant, Gary Zakovic, give him a chance to coach an all-star game, which he wouldn't have the opportunity in the North-South game. So it works out well. And a couple of the schools, Timmy McManus, the defensive coordinator at Elizabeth, has taken Jerry Moore's place. And so it's up to the head coach at each school whether he wants to do it or his assistant.
Next time Union touches the ball, we'll meet all the Union coaches. And Lewick, again, a good example there of, well, either not too good Union tackling
Very poor Union
or
tackling.
outstanding Middlesex running.
Well, it's a combination of both, but I'm a little bit surprised at the secondary tackling from Union County. That usually doesn't happen, but it could be attributed to the fact that there's some outstanding running backs on the other side.
This Jackson's tough to bring down. We've seen that already a couple times.
He's really one of the players who stood out so far, I think,
Yeah.
at least on the Middlesex side of the ball.
There's a lot of just plain missed tackles, not the fact that they're bouncing off, but a lot of missed tackles.
3rd and 3. Caffiero, quick toss to the outside. It'll be good for a first down. Fitzpatrick.
He did well to hold on to Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, good solid tackle that time.
Laquan Brown.
Yep.
Well, that's kind of neat. You see, we saw Al Fitzpatrick going back to the huddle, had a big K on his helmet from Kennedy. Those teams, they played to a tie in a regular season and met again in the playoffs, and now, they're buddies, during this week.
Where's Fitzpatrick? Well, from New Brunswick. New Brunswick was in the playoffs?
Yeah. 8:18 to go in the game, 20-14. Middlesex County with the lead. Nothing there. Sean Roberts, who blocked the field goal earlier with a big tackle.
Paul, that's the second tackle he's made in the backfield, and that's not too often for defensive linemen.
Watch 71. Fight off his block.
There's another kid, Paul, that was all excited about playing because he played with a team with a losing record. Comes in here and he's, those guys seem to be even more juiced up than the other guys.
7:42 left in the game. 2nd and 10. Caffiero looking to throw across the middle. Incomplete.
Good hit. I think that was Jason McPhail.
Harold Risher also was there. Steve Moninger was there. Jason McPhail.
And they converged pretty well on the receiver that time.
Looked like it was intended for Garvin from Highland Park, who had a catch in the 3rd quarter. Kind of like the same sort of play. They had him pretty well covered that time.
All right. I think that led to a touchdown too, didn't it?
3rd and 10.
Bootleg.
Caffiero going along, completed inside the 10.
That's going to be a touchdown. He's inside the 1. No pressure from the backside that time. They just ran a bootleg, kind of a naked bootleg, away from
Shinaffy on the reception.
When you look at this drive, you have 2 big plays, and both of them were against the grain. The reverse and the waggle were both against the grain, and again, they're taking advantage of the Union aggressiveness to go to the ball, and they're going away from it, and it worked for 2 big plays.
1st and goal with 7:08 to go. Wishbone look in the backfield, 3-man backfield. Onder.
He's inside the 1, and he didn't get in.
We asked, Coach Borden, who's been looking good in practice during the week, what sort of receivers and anybody else, and he mentioned Jeff Shinaffy of East Brunswick looking good as a wide receiver coming out of the backfield. So that really shouldn't surprise us. He remarked how they had been working on the middle screen pass with him also.
Well, the fullback, or the back, is probably the leading receiver on the waggle. That's who you're looking to hit, the dump, because you're getting pressure normally from the outside linebacker, and that opens that up.
Shinaffy, Whitner, and Jackson in the backfield. Shinaffy, he's in. So the East Brunswick Bear scores the touchdown with 6:14 to go in the game.
He was the one who made the big play on the reception. Yes. It's kind of fitting that he get in there. He made the big play on the reception.
Made the big catch that brought the ball to the 1, and 2 plays later, the East Brunswick Bear knocks it home for a 12-point Middlesex lead, and this time they're lining up to go for 1. Timeout, Middlesex.
It would make sense maybe to give a shot for 2 points here, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what they want to talk about here.
Normally you would, yes.
13 really doesn't buy you much.
Not if you have an accurate kicker like Union has.
You see Marcus, he's brought the Dolphin look the whole way. He's got the Dolphin hat like Don Shula. Signed a nice paid contract extension today.
By the way, a big thank you to Marcus Borden and John Wagner for their help in arranging this game for our coverage. Particularly Marcus Borden called me a couple months ago and said, hey, is there any interest in doing the first annual All-Star game? And I said, sure, it sounds like a great idea. I said, let me know who's playing. And as it turns out, approximately 50 of the 80 players in this game are from TV3 area towns.
Right.
It just became a natural for us, and through some great cooperation of Marcus and the coaches and administrators from both sides.
I'd say Marcus and John Wagner from our side really did the most legwork, and they deserve an awful lot of credit.
Maybe you could say real quickly how it all came about. You know.
Well, it came about. Marcus Borden called me and asked me if I could get the Union County coaches together. Would they be interested in the game? So I called all the Union County coaches, and when we met, they were all excited about it. So we said, let's go ahead. And I think it's going to be a great thing annually.
And Marcus has been talking. They have weekly GMC Football Coaches Association meetings at the Hale Center, where they honor a player of the week. And Marcus has been talking about this for 2 or 3 years. I know it's like really like a dream come true for him.
Right. Joe Policastro called me also. He's the president of the Middlesex County Coaches, and said he thought it would be a great idea. I said, I agree with you.
Caffiero keeps it, ducks in. He's got the 2-point conversion. It's a 28-14 lead for Middlesex County. And the lead in big part thanks to a great reception and then a touchdown run by Jeff Shanappy of East Brunswick. He's down on the field with our Steve Shofie.
Okay, I'm here with Jeff Shanappy from East Brunswick, who scored that last touchdown and put East Brunswick way ahead, at least by 2 touchdowns. Jeff, it was kind of fitting you scored a touchdown, seeing as how you caught the big pass to get him down there.
It was an easy pass. It was a simple, waggle out of the backfield, just get near the sideline, hopefully catch the ball, just put it in there.
Where are you heading next year, Jeff?
Nichols College out in Massachusetts.
You going to play football there?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is a nice tune-up for that, right? Oh, yeah. Okay, good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks a lot.
Back upstairs.
Anthony Caffiero, as we said 2 years ago, was a great receiver, and because of that had to be a great runner. He ducks in the 2-point conversion for the 14-point lead for the Middlesex All-Stars. Here's a look at it.
He's just one of those players, Paul. It's hard to explain. You have him on every level, from the pros to the college to the high school, that the kids can just rally around, and he really is that type of leader.
He's headed to Columbia, Ivy League player. So it's an uphill battle right now for the Union All-Stars. 6 minutes to go. They need 2 scores.
And they need a big play, and they need it early. That clock will start as soon as they mark the ball.
Anthony Caffiero's had a big game for the Middlesex All-Stars. He's down with Steve Shofie right now.
Okay, Paul, I'm here with Anthony Caffiero from Woodbridge, and Anthony's had some big numbers tonight. You're putting up the ball, and they're catching it. It's got to be a lot of fun to throw these receivers, right?
Yeah, we're having a great time. Line's doing a great job. Receivers are catching the ball. We're just looking and checking out the defense, making the proper reads, and getting the ball to the right people.
Great way to cap your high school career after winning a state championship your senior year, and now this participation.
I'm having a ball. This is really great. I mean, we heard so much hype about Union, and it's great that finally Middlesex gets a chance to put itself on the map, because we can play football.
No doubt about that. Good luck the rest of the way, Anthony. Take care. Back upstairs, Paul.
Shinestool fakes ones and then dives forward. A good gain for Shinestool. By the way, here's the list of the Union County assistant coaches for this evening's contest. You will know about Steve Cicatelli and John Wagner, Nick Brown from Cranford, John Kay from Hillside, Tim McManus, an assistant at Elizabeth, Lou Grasso of Roselle, Joe Hubert of Governor Livingston, Carl Peterson, an assistant at Johnson Regional, and Gary Zakovic, who we mentioned earlier, from Union High. First down run for Shinestool. Shinestool looking left, puts it up over the middle, completed, but knocked free, incomplete pass.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 white jerseys I counted around the intended receiver. Looks like they're in a little bit of a deeper coverage area.
And yet Shinestool got the ball right in there. It should have been held. Perfect ball.
Real nice ball.
That's the kind of quarterback he is. He doesn't rely on an overpowering arm, but accuracy and proper reads.
And again, still have just about 5 minutes left to score, a quick score within a minute or so, or 2 minutes, and there still might be enough time.
You're going to need a big play right here.
Blitz is coming. Picked up by Kubarov.
Like that.
completed to Brown, who caught the first touchdown pass for the Union All-Stars, and that takes it out to midfield. Remember, Sal Mistretta, the Middlesex defensive coordinator, is still hooked up with our wireless mic. We'll try and listen into his thoughts in the final 4:35.
You know, the one advantage you get here in high school, every time you make a first down, you stop the clock. It's important to get right up on the ball very quickly afterwards. The pros, the clock keeps running until the last 2 minutes.
Scheinstuhl tosses it to Coleman, and he is hit immediately by Pat Foya of Piscataway.
That hurts. Not only do you lose yards, but the clock keeps running.
Foya, all red division for 2 years. He's headed to Uppsala.
He helped Piscataway come away with a winning record in the red division, which they consider quite an accomplishment. Finished the year 4-3-2 this year.
The blitz is coming. Scheinstuhl across the middle. Brown can't hold on.
They're still the biggest underachievers in the state, Piscataway. They should be a great club every year.
3:37 left in the fourth quarter.
They got 2 downs here, Paul. They're going to have to use fourth down if they don't make it here. They can't afford to punt it away.
Not at this point, as a matter of fact.
Nope.
There will be a timeout for Union.
Surprised with the clock stopped. You want to
Well,
say
they have to discuss the importance of this down.
That's true.
And then, of course, the importance of the next down. By the way, with 3:37 to go, a reminder that an MVP award will be handed out at the end of the game by Team Togs. Team Togs represented this evening by their general manager and vice president, Michael Fraunheim, former quarterback at Immaculata High School in Somerville, where he played for his dad, Pierce Fraunheim. So Team Togs will hand out the MVP trophy at the end of tonight's contest. It's a tough one so
Who
far.
are you voting for, Joe? Who would you vote for?
I'm going to say there's no clear-cut winner so far. There have been several outstanding players on the Middlesex squad.
Jackson had a nice touchdown run, got him going. Caffiero is throwing some nice balls.
Well, when you have 2 full units of all-stars,
exactly.
You know, everybody's getting into the action. It's hard to pick one guy that's going to dominate and run the ball 25 times, you know?
Yeah. Paul, any thoughts?
Well, again, Caffiero certainly has thrown very well.
Hagee did well, too, when he was in there.
Yeah. Onder with a couple of big runs, including a touchdown.
And ran hard, yeah.
Yep.
Ish had a couple of big plays.
Even though he didn't score, but so it's again no clear-cut favorite.
And nobody ever talks about the offensive lineman.
Well,
I tried to before.
Yeah, I mean in terms of MVPs.
Yeah.
When's the last offensive lineman ever won an MVP award?
Well, Scheinstuhl brought down because the defensive line had a great play that time. Tom Sokolsky of Piscataway.
Well, at least we had 6 touchdowns. That's good for an all-star game. So, you know, we've had some games in the North-South game where it's tough to score 1.
I think the game organizers have to be ecstatic. They have to be thrilled with everything he's done tonight so far.
Remember, next year in Sayreville, with or without Bon Jovi. 3 minutes to go, 4th and long distance. So now the Union, of course, has to punt it away.
As Joe said, though, Bon Jovi or not, those Sayreville fans are going to fill those stands.
They love their Bombers. Blocked.
That could be recovered by by Union County. I don't know if they did because it was touched that side of the line of scrimmage.
But I believe Middlesex does recover. Union had, of course, most of their team down covering the punt.
We were speaking of the Bombers, and it looked like that was Jamal Bowman, I think, who got in there.
Pat Foya is the man who recovers the fumble.
I can't see the number. See that hit his foot past the line of scrimmage. So that if that was recovered by Union, they would have the ball.
It would have been their possession?
Yes, because if you touch it the opposite side of the line of scrimmage, of course, it's a free ball.
That was Bowman. He's used to being in the backfield. 13 sacks and 11 other tackles behind the scrimmage.
2 minutes, 4 seconds left in the game.
You can expect they're going to run a lot of base stuff right now. Same thing, where the play is designed to go inside the defensive corner, and he winds up bouncing it to the outside.
And the big thing there that their coaches were probably hoping for was for him to stay in bounds.
Yeah, but they're closing, the Union defense is closing a little bit too tight and giving the bounce out to the backs, and they've run that all game, that bounce out, with great success.
Well, Sean Whitner is another player who's contributed,
Exactly, yeah, you're right.
to the Middlesex teams. It's going to be a tough vote.
All their running backs have done well, and the quarterbacks.
You're right. Shanafi had the touchdown pass.
Mhm.
Anders run hard.
Mhm.
Might have to give it to the whole backfield.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the truth, Joe. I've never been in favor of MVPs anyway. We don't allow them in our own school when we talk about MVPs.
Yeah. One of the hardest jobs about being a sports writer is picking the all county. We call it all area because there are so many good players, and you want to try to represent everybody and try to keep everybody happy. It's just impossible. It's so difficult.
In an all-star game, MVPs are okay because it's not a team. The team isn't going to go on from there. But on an individual team basis, I'm so against those offensive linemen, the outstanding offensive, outstanding this. No, you're a team. That's it. This guy's going to score, maybe.
Shanafi down to the 2.
They thought they had a sack on the quarterback, and instead the ball was handed off.
Nice misdirection play.
They actually, the pressure came with the linebackers, and they ran right past the ball carrier, right to the quarterback.
Under 1 minute now. .45 seconds to go. And we've got a timeout Union. Let's head down to the sidelines once again with Steve Schofield.
How you doing there, Paul? I'm with Jamal Bowman, who just blocked that kick. He's from Sayreville. You got to be happy that you made Coach Mistretta happy tonight, right?
Yeah, I'm very happy. I was playing my heart out this game. This is the biggest game of my life, and whenever they was punting, I was kind of not going to sucker them into not blocking me. And then towards the end of the game, they didn't block me, and I came up with the block.
I guess it worked, huh?
Yeah, I guess it did work.
And standing with you, Patrick Foye from Piscataway, and you're the guy that recovered that ball, right?
Yeah, we like a 1-2 punch, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we worked hard. We worked hard the whole training. 2 weeks of hard work, that's all. And we worked it out. It worked out for us. It worked out for us tonight.
You guys seem like you had a good time.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Great job, fellas.
Thank you very much.
Rashawn Whitner scores for Middlesex to give them a 30-14 advantage with 12 seconds. 34-14 advantage with just 12 seconds remaining.
I think we could say this is safely tucked away, huh?
The big play, the run by Dakiai following the Union touchdown. Because that really took the sail out of Union.
Fans were stomping on the bleachers.
Yeah, we said it
defense.
then. Union looked like they had momentum, and that play turned it right back around. It was a great call and a great time to make that call.
And remember that they had run that play previously in a half and called back because of a penalty.
Right.
Hagee on to attempt the point. There's a penalty on the play. Delay of game.
It's a really important penalty call, isn't it? By the way, who's going to make that call on the MVP award, Paul?
I believe you are, Lou.
Oh, geez, no.
Well, again, there are a couple of worthy choices. Kamishi Jackson, Andrew Onder, well, most of the Middlesex backfield.
Exactly. Any one of those guys would be a worthy recipient.
With just 10 seconds to go. Well, I guess to nominate someone, how about Kamishi Jackson had as good numbers as anyone, and remember his touchdown was a key when it gave Middlesex a lead that they would never relinquish.
Well, let's go unanimously with that.
All right, so I think we will go
And
with.
also, let's remember his grandfather. He said his grandfather passed away on Tuesday. It'd be kind of a nice award for him. And again, he did look like he was as fired up as anybody and really appreciated the game as much as anybody.
The stats as even as they could be, but Jackson again with the big touchdown, which eventually gave Middlesex the lead that they would never relinquish. That made it 14-7 at that time. Middlesex took a 20-7 lead. Union came back to make it 20-14. But since then, Middlesex has scored to make it right now 34-14. And if we can ever get this extra point done, we'll continue on with the game.
It started out with 12 seconds, and then now it's down to 8. We have three more penalties. We wouldn't have to make this kick. What's this from? Monroe.
Kamishi Jackson Monroe, and also fitting, I guess, Joe, because as you said, Monroe with very few wins this year. As you said, he almost as much as anyone seemed to enjoy this game.
Monroe finished 3-6 this year, Paul, which is kind of a step in the right direction for them. Coach Hudak really does have the program headed in the right direction. They had a couple good running backs this year, and I could just imagine the reaction of the coaching staff and the school when they find out about him winning the MVP. Really, I think it really will be much appreciated down there.
Well, you know what happens? We saw it this week. The kids that came from losing programs seemed more excited than anybody, and it's almost like a chance at redemption for them. Let's go out a winner. No matter what our school record was, I'm a winner. They looked at themselves as winners, and they proved it here tonight.
Those players aren't used to playing in the big games.
Well, I was going to say, yes, during the regular season, you talk about teamwork so much, and you do play for your team, but in an all-star game, in a sense, you're playing for yourself, especially when you are from a losing team, because you're saying, boy, I was 0-9, never got my name in the paper, never got mentioned on TV. I'm going to really show off tonight, and Kamishi Jackson certainly did just that. That will do it for time. We're going to run it down one more. Oh, no, we're not going to give it down. Rashawn Whitner scored the last touchdown for Middlesex County to make it 35-14, and that will be the final score of this evening's contest. The first annual Union Middlesex All-Star Game is history. We will be back with our post-game show, and we will be speaking with MVP Kamishi Jackson right after this.
Hiya, we got a letter from Melissa from Clinton, Illinois. Do you give in-home demonstrations of your product line? I'll be right over. You asked for a home demonstration, and I am here to give it to you. And this is for you. Guava Mania.